And then even dictionary.com weighed in to explain what self-made means. But if you ask anybody who's ever followed Kylie Jenner, we're all just haters. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and ghouls, it's the Halloween... It's not. Welcome to Big Damn Cast, episode 141, because someone's going to listen eventually. My name is Christopher. I can't feel my face when I'm with you, Johnson.
And I'm Matthew. This song is about drugs, Watson.
I know, right? Is it right? Okay, so I used to work for a... Is this about drugs? It's not about drugs. I used to work for... not many people know this, but I used to work for a large children's entertainment broadcasting company.
Really?
Yeah.
That passed me by completely.
And once upon a time, in Mexico... There was a trailer for a summer... They did, like, strip things over the holiday periods, like, stripped sort of...
That's not appropriate for a children's TV
stripped
station.
marketing, so, like, a specific banner or title for that holiday, that half-term period.
Yes!
And one summer, or just before the summer, they started playing stuff for their Friday slot, and they used Katy Perry's Last Friday Night in the trailer. In the trailer, you could hear, and I remember hearing it go out one day and raising that concern with someone.
Yes.
You could hear the line, "Think we took too many shots, think we kissed but I forgot." That was in the trailer on a kids' entertainment channel.
Very good.
Do you want to know what's even more depressing?
What?
No one complained.
No.
Which means no parent paid attention long enough to hear that line on the thing their kid was watching.
Maybe you're just a prude, Chris.
Maybe I'm amazed at the way you love me all the time.
I mean, I would be. It is
against
all reason and sense.
Speaking of against all reason and sense, have you listened to some of Paul McCartney's newest stuff?
No.
It's pretty good. There's one called Who Cares, which is really, really good.
I haven't listened to it. I'll check him out.
It's basically an anti-bullying song.
Is that like Paul McCartney?
It's really funky.
Who doesn't like Paul McCartney? Apart from Heather.
Yeah. Oh, she gave him one leg up in the Times. So,
fuck you! Boo! Fuck you!
She's never going to hear this or care.
Boo!
Like what I've just said is going to damage her at all. It was practically never mind.
No, I can't do this. Big Damn Cast is over.
That's it, guys.
Big Damn Cast is cancelled.
We end with issue 141 with a splash panel showing Matt soaring over the city with his cape, flying off to new pastures.
My cape and nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, come on, it's streamlined, isn't it? It's like swimmers. It's why. I
wouldn't say it was streamlined. It's definitely got round edges.
Well, no, but it's why professional swimmers wear speedos.
Oh yeah,
because it's like it's about like there's no friction then of your body, so you're obviously gonna be shaved completely.
Yes,
in this scenario,
absolutely.
I love that there's no friction yet a cape.
Yeah, no friction yet a cape. No, it catches the updraft.
Does it?
Science.
Right up your draft.
Speaking of science,
I can't wait to see how this works.
We've got trailers for 2 movies coming up that defy all laws of science and logic by looking that they might actually be good.
3 out of 5.
And
I'll give you 3 out of 5 on that. That was alright.
And that is... these look like they're probably solid 3 out of 5 movies.
That's true.
At least they could well be better, and I hope they are. But first up, we have a new trailer for the imminent... I think it's like a couple of weeks away now. The imminent release of DC's and Warner Brothers'
Shazam!
A.k.a. Captain Sparklefingers.
Yes, that's not his name, as he declares. Although, of course, you probably can't say his name.
No, he can't say his name. Because then
they'll revert back to Billy Batson.
Because he's...
Billy Batson.
He can't say his name because now it's also the title of the franchise because he can't say his name because Marvel own it.
Yeah. Weird, right?
Too many Captain Marvels in the hizzle.
But to the credit of Captain Marvel, the original, not only are they both Captain Marvel properties coming out like in the same sort of month and a bit, which is pretty great. Like, it's kind of cool that we're in a world now where those two characters are getting movies at the same time.
Yeah.
But also, with all the controversy that's been going on with Captain Marvel, people getting really the man. Let's face it, the man baby complainers.
It's not really a controversy as much as it is people who are not necessarily stable or happy projecting their own self-loathing on Brie Larson.
Yeah, but they have been met with a sort of hey, shut the fuck up defense from Zachary Levi, who put a video out saying like, hey, people looks like I'm Captain Marvel for all these reasons. Stop.
Even
which you know someone at Warner Brothers will probably be like, yeah, Zach, don't do that. Don't big up the other movie. Don't big up the other studio. But it's like, no, he's just being a cool dude.
We all win.
Also, he's part of the MCU family as well.
He's been there. He's done that.
He's been there, done that. Got the T-shirt, and then happily died because it freed him up to make Shazam.
He looks like he's having a whale of a time.
It looks so much fun. Batman cameo, sort of.
Yeah,
it's a big ass Batman action figure.
Love it.
And I said to you before, I was like, is that voiced by Kevin Conroy? So we sort of paid attention to it.
I think it is.
Sounds like Kevin Conroy.
I'm
like
Batman.
Just like, yeah, you are
Batman.
Yes, you are Kevin Conroy. I've already seen that moment where what's the villain called again?
Dr. Savannah?
Savannah, that's it. Where Savannah says to him, "How old are you?" And he says, "Basically 15." He's already getting memed. Yes. People are going like, "Yep, that's me. That's me inside." Like, holy, basically 15.
Basically.
This looks like so much fun.
It looks like a lot of fun.
New trailer sort of kicks off with footage we've already seen of the wizard Shazam and Billy meeting first time and Billy getting the powers of Shazam. But then it's a bunch of new stuff. Some stuff from the TV spot. I would like to purchase your finest beer.
She just motions him over.
It's just brilliant. Like, I mean, of course, I love the fantastical, wonderful nature of Shazam, of Captain Marvel, Billy Batson. I think it's great, but I love that the angle they're going for is big.
Yeah,
like they're just going. It's big
because I think
we're remaking big is what we're doing, but there's a supervillain in it.
When you adapt a superhero property, you can't really adapt specific stories because they're longer and broader.
Yeah, I mean, there's ways to do it.
A bit like the Doctor Who New Adventures. They're too deep, too broad for the small.
You mean they can't just stick Lungbarrow into season 12? The Cartmel Master pamphlet.
You have to. Oh, God.
Shorthand version.
You have to reduce.
I'm treating myself to a biscuit for that.
But you have to reduce so much. So you have to adapt the sort of the spirit of a thing.
Biscuits for all.
That's what they did with Civil War.
Yeah.
And that's what the MCU movies have done so well with those characters. You don't necessarily adapt a specific moment as opposed to an overall feel. And if you're talking about the Shazam Captain Marvel, then you are dealing with a child, a teenager in an adult's body with these superpowers. So that's kind of the best angle to approach it.
A child with the powers of a god, but the innocence of a kid.
The powers of a god.
The powers of a dream. Yeah, we're recording. Hi, the wife's here. Say hi, wife.
Come on in.
Hi.
Everything okay?
Let the bedroom door open.
Oh, that's fine.
Min!
The dog will just move in.
Yeah,
Say hi, Minnie.
She's pulled loads of things out of the bedroom.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. The dog just made a cameo after having caused destruction untold. Well, that's the end of the podcast. Officially the end. We're in so much trouble. It's a kid dealing with the powers of a god, but the eyes of innocence of a child. I mean, come on. He gets an adult body, and this trailer's showing us one of the first things they do is they try and buy beer.
Yep. And that shot is framed so wonderfully. With the way that he just swivels on the spot and walks out of frame, and then his foster brother's behind him.
I'm amazed that it worked.
I love it. His foster brother's one of the kids from It. It's the guy who played Eddie. He's great.
What are you looking for?
We should be getting a trailer for that soon, surely.
Hopefully.
Oh, there's another trailer I forgot to put down.
Down in Browntown.
There's another trailer I forgot to put down before we talk about the next one, which is a movie that I'm actually looking forward to.
Oh, there's a trailer for a movie you couldn't give a shit about.
Because, and we've just talked about one that I'm actually looking forward to. We're going to put one in the middle.
Oh.
Not only am I not particularly looking forward to, but I'm shocked it's actually coming out.
My memoir's the adaptation.
The Dark Phoenix trailer dropped.
Shit balls! We didn't talk about that, did we?
No, because it dropped after the last podcast.
Yeah. When you say Dark Phoenix trailer dropped, don't you mean the guy who works at Fox in a producer position's wet dream, where the Phoenix story is a really boring shorthand where she wears a long leather coat.
So
remake
it
is
looks
out.
like a remake of The Last Stand. Yeah.
I have my theory. We've talked about this before.
What's your theory? Tell me your theory.
We've talked about this
before.
We've talked
biscuit.
Eat it good, son. Oh god, he's licking coffee off of it all sensually. We've talked about this before, like where producers get hang-ups. Like I had the Robin Hood thing where I was like, somebody's had that at least, but where like Avi Arad with Venom. Avi Arad has always wanted to do Venom in some way. Like where a producer or someone in a position of power is obsessed. Amy Pascal at Sony, like, yes, we need more female-led summer blockbusters, but she goes about it in a weird, wrong way when you see her creative input toward the projects. But she's still doing it. Like, the moment Spider-Verse opened and did well, they were like, we're doing a Spider-Gwen spin-off with a team of female Spider people. It's like, alright, back the fuck up. Take a breath. But there are some producers who just have, like, an obsession with doing one thing. Someone at Fox loves the idea of Jean Grey turning into the Phoenix as a split personality and wearing a long leather coat while she broods.
Yeah.
That's their idea of the Phoenix, and they are... it's the John Peters giant spider. Someone is like, oh, that's Dark Phoenix. And everyone's going, well, it's not. And they're like, yeah, but you're going to do that though, right? I get. The poster for this is her split down the middle.
Yeah.
And the Dark Phoenix is her in a long red coat. Basically, she's cosplaying Famke Janssen from X-Men The Last Stand. The last time they did Dark Phoenix, where it was a split personality and she wore a dark red coat and brooded a lot.
This film looks pretty bad, right?
It looks terrible.
It's just...
And the thing is, I want to see Jessica Chastain in a villain role. And it looks like she's got some, meaty, sinister fun to play with. I'm just happy to see
Jessica Chastain in anything, really. She's great.
She is great. And it feels like a waste, because
really
she's in a mainstream superhero film. And it's like, yeah, but couldn't we have saved her to play like a cooler character elsewhere, maybe?
James McAvoy.
Love McAvoy. He's back in the wig for this one, because they've got some flashbacks. Did you see the makeup comparison doing the rounds on Twitter of Mystique? A shot of Rebecca Romijn in X-Men.
Yeah.
And a shot of Jennifer Lawrence in the trailer for Dark Phoenix.
I did not see the comparisons.
Basic version of the character makeup. Like, painfully basic version of the character makeup. Keep in mind, Jennifer Lawrence grumbled enough in the making of First Class, arguably one of the better movies of the series. Arguably the best movie in the series, if we're not counting the spin-offs, like Logan.
Yeah, probably.
She complained about the makeup process for Mystique, something that had been established and was in 3 of the 4 previous movies. So when Days of Future Past came round, Mystique was mostly in clothing with just blue hands and head. But the few times where she was like full-bodied Mystique, like Mystique in disguise, coming out of disguise from shapeshifting, it was a suit. They developed a bodysuit, and they had to digitally remove, because the reason Rebecca Romijn was essentially naked with makeup and very thinly disguised sort of underwear kind of stuff, was because if you wear a costume for that, like to look like this reptilian blue thing, there are creases, places, there are zippers, so they have to spend more money to digitally remove those things afterwards.
Yeah.
So they were like, right, well, she's going to be like that less in Days of Future Past, so we'll do that. We'll digitally remove these things. Then Apocalypse rolls around. I don't think Mystique is blue in her blue sort of naked form at any point in Apocalypse.
I've completely forgotten that entire movie.
And at the end, she's a leader of the X-Men because they want Jennifer Lawrence in their franchise, so Mystique's an X-Man now. And she's in an X-Men outfit, like an X-Men uniform, blue hands and head. So it's like, well, your superpower will not work now.
Yeah.
Like, what is the point?
Don't know.
It's because Jennifer Lawrence doesn't want to be in the makeup chair.
No.
And she was contractually obligated to do Days of Future Past and Apocalypse. She's not contractually obligated to do this one, so was obviously asked for a shit ton of money. Will probably not be in the film very long. And the trailer suggests
anything to go by.
The trailer suggests the character is killed off early on in the movie.
Yeah, just like they did with Xavier in The Last Stand. Because it's a remake of The Last Stand. If the trailer's anything to go by.
But hey,
except they go into space maybe for a little bit.
Charles and Eric are going to put their differences aside to work together like every fucking X-Men movie.
I don't know what to do!
Every film! Every X-Men movie is them teaming up. Apart from X-Men. That's the only one where they don't team up.
It's them teaming up and Xavier not knowing how to solve the problem.
Yeah.
This genius leader of the X-Men who has amazing psychic powers doesn't know what to do. Ever.
Beast is somehow in his late 40s, but looks like Nicholas Hoult.
Beast. What a waste. What a waste.
And he's a baddie now. He joins Magneto's side. Probably because Mystique's killed.
Fucking hell. Cyclops. Wasted.
Hmm?
They've done a couple of versions of Cyclops now, and they've wasted him each time. Like, I didn't like Cyclops when I was a kid, because I was like, oh, he's boring. And then I've got older, I've gone, actually, no, he's actually pretty complex.
In recent years, they've really played with that.
Oh, yeah.
But
no.
It's,
Cyclops.
wasted. Storm. Probably wasted. Nightcrawler.
Remember when everyone was excited about Jubilee being in Apocalypse? Because she looked like 90s Jubilee, and then she was in it for 5 seconds.
Why does Quicksilver not look 20 years older than when we first met him?
Why does Quicksilver?
Oh, that's good. Right, so correct me if I'm wrong. You're the expert.
I'm the expert in the room. In the room.
I mean, there's the extent of my X-Men collection down there. There's some some Astonishing X-Men and some Brian Michael Bender's New X-Men.
You need to get yourself some Claremont X-Men, son.
Well, hang on, I do have. Where are they? There's a pile of them in here somewhere. I've got a bunch of the Grant Morrison stuff in the smaller trades they released in the UK. They're down there. They're quite good.
Yes.
But that's where they introduced the plain uniform with just the yellow X.
Yeah, because it was around the same time as the movie.
It's really good. So correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay. You probably will.
The Dark Phoenix stuff and the Phoenix storyline, this, that, and the other, delves into the Shi'ar.
Yes.
And the Kree in the books.
Not the Kree so much.
Okay. But the Shi'ar and the Kree are at war with each other in some way. I know the Kree and the Skrulls have always been
not at that point.
Okay.
It's mainly the Shi'ar that appear in it. The Kree and Skrulls do appear briefly in the story, but not really as players.
Because as far as I can tell, the Skrulls are in the same pool as Quicksilver. In that Fox can use them.
I think so, yeah.
Or Fox as they were at this point, because obviously it's in flux at the minute.
Yeah, because it's been
20th Century Flux.
It's been
they can use them
from day one about this movie that Jessica Chastain's character is a Skrull.
But she definitely
are in it.
But I don't think she will. I think they'll make it the Shi'ar in some way.
Makes sense.
Because Charles, in the comics, Charles has a romance with
Lilandra.
Lilandra, who's the queen of the Shi'ar?
Yeah, when she first appears,
she's
on the run. She's the deposed empress. Her madman.
And she's like, "Oh, I'm sexually attracted to this bald, crippled man who always screws people over because he's a dick."
She creates a psychic link with him on her way to Earth. He
wipes her memory when she's a child.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Why? Which he did. To be fair, he did. He has done that to other characters before.
Yeah. So the way Dark Phoenix plays out,
but that doesn't make him a nice person. Charles is a dick.
Yeah.
Let's have the fatherly, non-complicated Patrick Stewart version back, please, where he is just, "Hi, I'm a really powerful mutant, and I'm looking after these kids, and secretly I'm trying to keep these bad people away with some of my older students. We're trying to keep these bad mutants from ruining things quietly without anyone knowing we're doing it."
As soon as you scratch the surface of the character in comics, he ceases to be that almost immediately. Even going back to the very earliest X-Men books, where he would fake his own death to manipulate his students and harbored a secret crush on Jean Grey for years and years and years.
Yeah,
when she was 16.
Yeah, when she was Marvel Girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, good lord!
Yeah. But the way Dark Phoenix plays out in the comics is so there's a whole thing where Jean is cosmically empowered and everyone thinks she's dead, but then she's not. And she comes back, and then she just keeps getting more and more and more and more powerful. And it turns out she's a vessel for something called the Phoenix Force, which is this powerful, primordial cosmic force
entity of sorts.
The Hellfire Club and Jason Wingard, aka Mastermind, try and manipulate her, and that sort of pushes her over the edge into full-on Dark Phoenix mode. She fucks off into space after fucking up the X-Men, and basically just destroys a star, feeds on a star, and destroys the entire solar system.
Hum nom 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 nom.
Basically,
oh dear.
And it's Shi'ar territory.
Yeah.
And it's you get the sort of final transmissions from the Shi'ar ship as the Phoenix is just destroying it. And then and this is after Lilandra and the Shi'ar Empire have already been introduced. Xavier is with Lilandra in the Shi'ar at this point.
Yeah.
Because he's left the X-Men behind under Cyclops' command.
And now he's living in space, fucking.
Pretty much.
Or lying there and being...
He's a trophy husband.
Yeah.
That's straight up what he is. He's the queen. He's the queen's consort. And anyway, she comes back to Earth, and Xavier manages to come along and.
So it's just like, of all the people that our queen could have picked, yeah, but you don't understand. He can do things. So Jean comes back to Earth. Xavier He's in the corner
her.
doing Sudoku while she's having a night of rampant passion,
pretty much,
in her head.
And Xavier manages to put back the mental blocks in her head that cut off the connection to the Phoenix Force. Mm-hmm. But the Shi'ar are like, well, she still destroyed that entire fucking solar system, so they put her on trial. She's trial by combat. The Kree and the Skrulls are there and like, yeah, we want to get rid of her as well. And they try and throw it a little so that she dies. But she ends up dying anyway. She kind of commits suicide because she knows that she can't control. Mm-hmm. Even with the bots back in place, she can't control the Phoenix Force. And then
this thing is going to take over.
Yeah.
So Jean is an innocent victim, essentially, in this whole story.
To a point.
It's
like when they bring back Jean Grey later on, it's revealed that this was all the Phoenix Force impersonating Jean Grey, while the real Jean was in a cocoon from where she originally supposedly died.
Ah. Okay. So basically something that would require months and months of storytelling and investment from an audience member.
They built up to it over like 2 years or something.
So what you're saying is, it would work better in, say, like, a TV series, or a shorter series of movies that are a lot more personal and small, and we get to know these characters. So by the time movie 3, 4 rolls around and this shit kicks in, you're like, oh no! Oh, Jean! Instead of, last we met in the last movie. Now we have to care about her.
Yeah, the reason that it's never really worked on film is because they've never really done the work to make you give a fuck about Jean Grey beforehand.
And also, this is yet again comic book adaptation, adapting something we've already seen.
Yeah.
Botched as it was, but like, yeah.
Not only are they adapting it in way they're adapting something they've already adapted, but it looks like they're adapting it in pretty much the same way, down to some of the visuals, which have no roots in the visuals of the source material. Like, I could get it if they were both referencing the same source, but they're not.
Yeah.
Like, they're both adapting Dark Phoenix, but not visually. That long red leather coat look, that's just from The Last Stand.
It's got nought to do with Dark Phoenix.
Nah.
Wow. So we're really excited about this film.
But I am actually genuinely really excited about the next film we're going to talk about.
What the balls?
Hellboy.
Say what
the new Hellboy movie. We got a new trailer. We got a red band trailer.
Which is like flat out officially now just called Hellboy.
Yeah. It's violent. It's sweary. It's bloody. And they've redubbed David Harbour, so he sounds better. I don't know. I can't tell how much of the prosthetics is holding him back and how much of it is...
Oh, I bet he's acting his socks off through them, for sure. But when it comes to prosthetics, it's a marriage of the actor's willingness to go for it.
Yeah.
And I definitely see that from David Harbour. He's going for it. But also of the effects teams to create a believably organic face.
I like the prosthetics in this, from what I've seen of them, though.
I like the design. I know one thing threw me off for ages was like, he doesn't look right. It's his jaw. And then I realised it's because his jaw's really... the length of his chin, his jaw's really been highlighted by the fact that he's got curtains. Yeah. Like his hair's mostly down, which is odd, because Hellboy, I'm used to him having it all pulled back in a little pony.
Yeah.
So, which he does seem to have in some of the shots. Yeah. So it is there.
Yeah, he changed his hairstyle, it's fine.
Yeah. But that was throwing me off a bit. But then the more I watch it... Because have you been around many sort of actors in prosthetics?
No, not really.
It is an odd thing when you see him up close. I've worked again when I worked with this children's entertainment organisation. I got to do behind the scenes on like Doctor Who spin-offs and stuff at BBC Wales, and I worked a few times with character actor Dan Starkey, who's famous for playing like Sontarans and Doctor Who and things like that.
Yes,
and I got to work with him a few times. I got to work with a lovely comedian called Tom Bell. This was on a show called Wizards vs. Aliens, and they're heavy prosthetics. But they kind of look real. Like, you know they're not. When you're around them, you're like, I know that's not real. But when you're talking to me, that face doesn't look like you're puppeteering something.
Yeah.
It looks like it's part of when you're talking, your whole head it looks like it. Your whole head is engaging in the act of talking to me. It's not just a mouth and eyes in the middle of a lump. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And there's something about the sculpt of this face on David Harbour where it kind of almost looks a bit more like a lump with his face and eyes in it.
I get you.
That won't make or break the movie, but it could prove to be distracting. If it is that stoic.
And you know, I think...
and also we also have that example to fall back on Rob Perlman and Hellboy and Hellboy 2: The Golden Army, where it was a beautiful marriage of his face and the design.
I mean, Ron Perlman's face looks like a prosthetic anyway.
Yeah, well, he's got, again, like he and David
real.
Harbour are both, as actors, as weird as it sounds, gifted with rather odd faces.
Yeah.
Like, they have very broad features, and like David Harbour's got tiny little puppy dog eyes hidden in big ass cheeks, and like a big jaw. And you know, like Ron Perlman has got like a very sort of sallow face, but like the big upper lip and the big area above his lip and everything, like which is a gift to a character actor, because you can, you know,
it's a characterful face.
It's a characterful face.
Yeah.
I think of character actors like bloody Ed Wynn, Wallace Shawn, like, do you know what I mean? These are people, Kathy Burke, do you know what I mean? These are people who really play with the fact that they are not quote unquote beautiful people. Like they really play with it.
Faces that are so, I don't know, engaging.
Yes. And then there are those wonderful actors who exist on the cusp of it, where they're sort of both halfway house. Like John Hamm is a handsome fucker, but when he pulls a goofy ass face, you're like, ooh.
John Hamm.
He was on David Tennant's podcast last week.
Yes, I listened to that.
And he described him. He said, David says, I think what you've been cursed with is you have the sensibility. You're an old character actor, an old Hollywood character actor, trapped in an old Hollywood leading man's body.
Yes.
And it's like, oh god, yeah, kind of. It is. But do you know what I mean? Like, so David Harbour's got such a wonderful face. It seems like they've not enhanced his face. No. They've kind of covered it.
Yeah, a little bit, I think.
But I'd need to see more close-ups to be sure, because the one thing that annoyed me in this trailer, and this is my one con, you know, con with the trailer, is there is no sequence where they just hold on a close-up of him.
There are some.
Well, there's a sort of motion like that bit where he's like, okay, you're good, let's go. Like, so stuff like that.
He's doing stuff with the prosthetics there. There's the end one-liner to Mila
Which
Jovovich.
is really good.
Yeah.
It's never going to work. I have a Capricorn and you're fucking nuts! But you know, it's. I think because we don't have enough shots of that, it's making me go, I feel like they're holding back.
Straight
slightly.
up, this movie does look cheaper than Golden Army and the first Hellboy.
Which I think
it is.
Which I think will confuse some people, because they'll be like, but look at the effects, it looks so big and so, and it's like, yeah, but here's the difference. Practical effects cost more than CG now.
Yes.
We're at that point now where CG is the fix.
Yes.
It's the easy version compared to creating a complete CGI character. It's not cheap to digitally remove seams and creases out of a blue reptilian skin suit for a whole movie.
No.
Because that's painstaking work. But creating an animated character is cheaper than maintaining prosthetics for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
So, hence why you see a lot more mocap characters for creature features now than you do prosthetic ones. Which is a shame, because there is something lost there.
There's just something
gained,
the texture of prosthetics.
Something gained, the freedom of the performance.
Yes.
Something lost, the tangibility of it within the scene.
Just go back and watch The Thing and those creature effects.
Watch The Thing, and then watch the 2011 prequel The Thing.
I hate it when people call it a remake. It's not a remake.
No. I mean, it is a very loose remake in that it's just, I mean, we're kind of telling the exact same story.
But it is
a canonical prequel to the first one.
I don't know why people call it a fucking remake.
It's because they called it. It's because they called it The Thing.
I don't know why anyone who has seen it calls it a fucking remake. I can get it,
especially because it ends with the beginning of the first one.
Yeah, but
so there's a thing lost there and there. That Hellboy, you might think, oh, this actually looks really big and expensive. No, as Matt's pointed out, it's CGI environments, CGI monsters. Like, there'll be a shit ton of green screen. When he's fighting that troll thing, holding that troll's sword.
Yeah.
And he's having to use his whole weight to, like, carry it around because he's 10 times bigger than him.
Yeah.
And he's lobbing that troll's leg off. That troll is not there. It was digitally added in afterwards.
That's also the kind
that
of
sword
stuff.
Is not there. It was digitally added in afterwards. There might have been, like, a reference prop for his hands.
Oh, there would have been a big foam thing, yeah.
But that's it. That field is not fucking there.
No.
There'll be shots in that scene shot on a field, but that ain't one of them.
No.
Because it's been added in afterwards.
That ain't it, Chief.
Whereas Guillermo del Toro's 2 Hellboy movies, aside from where they couldn't avoid it, were all practical where they could be. Big plant monster in number 2, CGI. Dog thing in number 1, CGI for some shots.
Yeah, but mostly fucking a puppet.
Yeah, which is terrifying because it was in Guillermo del Toro's house.
Yeah.
And like this horrific Satan beast, just like sat there in the lobby.
That stuff's expensive. Studios don't want to spend the money on it. That's why the 2011 thing got fucked in post production because it got all the fucking.
Yeah, well, it was a mix, wasn't it? Because it was one of the execs was like, "But you can see the puppeteer." It's like, yeah, but we fix that. We fix that. We shoot around them, or we digitally cover that area. Yeah. But you can see the puppeteer though. You should do it in digital. It's like, oh,
went over. Yeah, it's like, oh, fucking. But yeah, and the fact that
I heard stories about a popular sci-fi program we talk about regularly, where a much anticipated creature reveal in one of the episodes was meant to be practical, and I've seen footage of the practical version of it. And then it was just the way the director shot it.
I know what you're talking about.
The way the director shot it just didn't quite work. So the team just stepped in and went CGI it, and the CGI thing was one of the most criticised things of that episode. So
yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And I saw the practical one, and it was horrifying. It looked great. Like some horrible gremlins creature. It was so cool.
But the Del Toro's refusal to make that compromise, for better or worse, is what killed Hellboy 3 in the end.
Yeah,
well, partly what killed Hellboy 3.
But also time, because Guillermo is a busy man, and he wouldn't have wanted to rush Hellboy 3 out.
And Ron Perlman ain't getting any younger.
Yeah, and Ron Perlman's still quite sad about it. I watched an interview on, I think he did an interview with Collider a couple of months ago. They said, have you seen the new Hellboy trailer? And he said no. And he said, the thing is, like, I was attached to it for so long, and we pushed for number 3 for so long. Yeah. And I have a lot of love for that character and the story we were going to tell. He says, I've met with David a few times, once to talk Hellboy, other times just, we've bumped into each other or we've been at a get-together. Yeah. He's amazing, he's lovely, I wish him the absolute best. I think he's going to kill it. He's going to do really well playing that role. But I will not be watching the new movie. I just can't bring myself to do it. And it's like, oh my god!
He poured a lot of himself into Hellboy, and it kind of sort of made him a star. Yeah.
I would argue his peak fame is Sons of Anarchy. Yeah. In terms of when you look at his legacy, I mean, a lot of people would say, no, it's Beauty and the Beast in the 90s, like the TV show. And it's like, that made him a household name in America, absolutely. That made him a household name. But Hellboy was like his, oh shit, Ron Perlman's the leading man in this thing. And he's playing a creature that is so distinct looking, yet we all know it's him.
And and there was, and for so long there was that thing of like, if not Ron Perlman, then who?
I remember I think we found out we found out it was David Arbor early on in this podcast's life, and we were like, okay, all right, that's okay, all right, okay,
down with that.
Let's see. And then we've seen more of David Arbor since, and we're like, yeah. And now we've seen the trailer, and we're like, he's not the thing I'm worried about.
No, it's
what's on his face is a bit worrying.
But hey, I don't know, tonally and
Ian McShane's in it, playing the John Hurt role, and I'm happy.
It looks like they've sort of flipped the script on their relationship, where instead of him being like a very, sort of almost fragile father figure, there's more of a sort of antagonism between them.
A bit of the deadbeat dad who's come in to call a favour on his kid, kind of
resentment for like the way he's treated Hellboy.
When it looks like he's come to collect him, have you noticed he's in like a really sort of like average looking sort of like London flat kind of thing, with a shitty glass window in the corridor and all that stuff. It's like, I'm looking forward to that.
It's pretty great.
I like the idea of domestic Hellboy, just chilling.
Because there's so much of that in the comics. One of the things that's so great is that
it's mostly set in London and was mostly shot in London. Yeah. For tax reasons.
Yeah. Because, this movie's cheap. That's why it's getting made. But there is a sense in the comics that Hellboy is an established part of this world, and a lot of people don't really bat an eyelid when they meet him. Yeah. So like this sort of...
Well, there's that nice bit in the first trailer that suggests maybe the world's getting used to him in this one. Yeah. The bit where the guy shoots him, he's like, I'm on your side!
Sorry!
Like, sorry.
Which is pretty good.
He just sees a big hulking red thing and shoots, and it's like, whoa! But his reaction again is so funny, just like, whoa! Like panicked arms in the air, like, God damn it!
But there is that sense in the comics that there is a certain level of weirdness already in this world.
Yeah,
and so it's
those books
not
are bizarre. Like they get dark and Lovecraftian in their. You know what?
Well, this what they're adapting here looks like they're jumping in and like the second half of the Hellboy stuff where now it starts getting really dark and sort of fatalistic in a way.
Yeah, I mean the creatures look straight out of Resident Evil.
Yeah, I mean not just Mila Jovovich.
Yeah, well, that might be why I think Resident Evil was. Yeah, the Resident Evil creatures in the movies didn't look anything like the creatures from Resident Evil. Where was the giant tarantula?
Yeah. I mean, Neil Marshall's a good.
Where was the giant snake? It was a really big snake.
We know Neil. It was a big snake. Don't go.
You could have been a Jill sandwich.
Don't even joke because I'm going to be playing the remake of that game
with better voice acting. The same terrible dialogue, but better voice acting.
And no live action cutscene at the start, which is great. Maybe I'll just play the PS1 version. No, it's terrible.
Play them both. Alternate.
At the same time, I'll do one in each hand.
And the games.
Hey!
So,
but yeah, I mean, Neil Marshall's. That's why he's such a good choice for this movie because he can do really effective horror with teeth, so to speak, on a budget. And I think that was the thing that was missing from the Del Toro Hellboy movies. Is they did have a horror bent because it's a Del Toro project and everything does that he does, but it didn't quite have the. It didn't quite go far enough.
Yeah.
In some respects,
he lent into the fantasy a bit more.
Yeah, rather than
the horror trappings, but it was the first one's more horror. I mean, I'm sacrilegious because my favourite of the two. According to my wife, I'm sacrilegious.
Yeah,
because my favourite of the two, we got the animated ones there as well.
Oh, nice.
My favourite of the two is the Golden Army.
I think the Golden Army is the better of the two.
See, don't say that around Lucy because she'll harm you.
Well, it's not got fucking what's his name in it. The useless agent audience surrogate character.
True, but yep, no, that's about it. No, I like number two because I like number two is essentially again it's a fantasy movie.
Yeah.
And it's a weirdly beautiful one. It's got some very obvious kind of yawn stuff in it, like the elven villain, like is kind of just sort of generic stoic elf character who's a bit sadistic, and the Golden Army itself. When you finally see them, you just like big CGI thing, and because they're CGI and everything else practical. They feel odd. They feel odd and out of place. And then there's the sort of loose continuation, more comic-based animated films as well. Which I think there's 3 or 4 of these.
Another thing that I'm slightly disappointed with is it doesn't look like we've got
Steelbook.
It's not Steelbook. It doesn't look like we've got an Abe Sapien in this, which is fine.
I'm fine with because save him for later.
Same because we've got some other BPRD folks.
Yeah,
we've got no.
As long as we don't have Seth MacFarlane voicing a gas thing, that's the one thing I don't like about number 2.
I don't know, it's fine.
It's fine, but his performance feels like a voice actor performance.
Yeah,
like it feels like an animated voiceover.
Yeah,
and I don't mean that as like a diss because you know me, I love my voice, I love my voiceover boys and girls, but some can straddle that line. Well, like Winnie the Pooh in Christopher Robin. Didn't feel like a cartoon voiceover. Yeah. Whereas Seth MacFarlane in Hellboy 2 does feel like a cartoon voiceover.
I'm cautiously optimistic about Hellboy. I think it's going to be pretty good.
I want to have fun.
I really want to like it, so I hope it's good.
And Ian McShane.
Like Ian McShane.
And where else are we going to get more Ian McShane? Oh wait, American Gods
in a week. Turns into a panther or leopardo. I can't tell what it is in the shots. It looks some kind of big cat.
It looks bluey green.
Some kind of big werecat.
And it's in a church.
Yeah, and they're fighting the big troll with a pig rhino face, who is a character from the comics book whose name I cannot remember.
Pig rhino face troll.
And Baba Yaga's in it, and her chicken leg house.
Was that what was peeking behind the curtain?
I'm assuming that's Baba Yaga, because just before that you see the shot of her chicken leg house.
Comics are weird,
going
guys.
Going into the weirder bits of Hellboys, I'm looking forward to the movie kind of playing with that, so...
Comics are weird. Do you know what else is weird?
The way subscription services are trying to kill us with... slowly draining our wallet away one subscription at a time.
That is weird, but hey, at least if they're putting their time and effort, and putting their money where their mouth is, and giving us incredible quality content,
well,
then you know
Netflix is a okay hit ratio.
That's true, but look at it this way: a lot of households will buy, say, like 5 or 6 new DVDs a month. Like I used to sort of be like that, and I am occasionally now, where like a film I want comes out and I buy it like on release day.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I sort of have a bit more restraint unless I really want to watch it right away. It comes out and I go, right, Amazon wishlist. I'll pick it up in a couple of months when it's a bit cheaper. Like, there we go.
Yeah.
But if you're buying like 4 or 5 new DVDs a month, DVDs, not even Blu-rays, you're spending about 50, 60 quid.
Yeah.
You can spend that 50, 60 quid on services that provide you with endless reams of entertainment.
Endless content.
So I kind of get it, in a way.
Literal endless content.
I don't think anyone's going to be running to purchase
Shudder
based on the trailer for its latest project. It's his first original
project.
It's a series. Picture the scene, boys and girls.
Picture the scene.
It's a mini-series.
Boils and ghouls.
6-episode mini-series, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
Based off of a popular 80s horror comedy property.
Popular's a strong word.
Okay, a beloved
cult.
Cult. Yeah, that's the one. A cult 80s comedy horror franchise, if you will.
It was definitely a franchise.
That featured puppets. Heavily. Little creatures, these puppets running amok.
Yeah.
Causing chaos in small rural America.
Yeah.
Getting all up in your face piece.
Yeah.
And multiplying like crazy.
Yeah. Gremlins!
No.
Oh.
Shudder's first original series is on its way and they've dropped the trailer for their... oh, God. The continuation of the Critters franchise.
The one we were all looking forward to.
Now, pros.
Critters
is beloved by a very big cult sect.
Very big
people
cult
who grew
sect,
up with people who grew up with rentals and Blockbuster Video.
I was very familiar with the box art for those movies.
Rented the shit out of them, if not stared at them on the shelves.
Creep me the fuck out, the little hairy fuckers.
Before I ever watched them,
yeah,
it was the box art in Blockbuster and Walkman.
Yeah.
That's what familiarised me with them. They're in the horror section.
Yeah.
I remember. That was the same store and same display that made me hate dolls because the Bride of Chucky DVD case traumatised 7-year-old me.
And the same store I later worked in.
Yeah. And here I am with the Bride of Chucky toys on my shelf because I'm over it now, but still.
Yeah.
Critters. You pointed out to me before this, Critters was written before Gremlins.
Yeah, but it wasn't produced until after.
Because Gremlins did really well.
And then you got a wave of films like Ghoulies and
Troll,
and stuff.
the first Troll.
The first Troll.
Yeah.
But stuff that was...
The first and technically only Troll, really.
And stuff that was like... I mean, certainly with Ghoulies as well, like, it existed pre-Gremlins and sort of independent of it, but it was retooled in its marketing and slightly in its post-production to sort of focus on the little creepy puppet fuckers.
Yeah, the creepy puppet fuckers.
Creepy puppet fuckers.
That's a different genre altogether.
Creepy puppets who are fuckers, not creepy people who fuck puppets.
I mean, I'll watch that movie too. I'll watch any movie.
I mean, there's got to be a version of House of Wax that's like that, right?
Oh, God, no!
Oh, no!
Oh, God, no!
But
that'll be the Twilight Zone episode remake of The Dummy. It'll just be, like, Bill Hader fucking a ventriloquist doll or something. Now I've said it, I want Bill Hader in the Cliff Robertson role if they're going to loosely remake that one. That would be great.
Yeah, that's cool. But I think...
Critters is not just a small creatures devouring stuff story.
No, it's
sort of it. Like, that's the basic premise.
But it's also funny and cool in and of itself, regardless of any Gremlins sort of allegations or apparent plagiarism, because it's not really similar to Gremlins. Like,
aside from first, I think all of them are set in small town America, aren't they?
No, the third one is set in like an apartment building in the city.
Sorry, not knocking off Gremlins, you said?
Yeah.
Not ripping off Gremlins?
And the fourth one is set in space. In the future.
Of course.
And it has Brad Dourif in it.
Of course.
And Angela Bassett.
Oh, God, yeah.
and
Leo
from Twin Peaks.
I was going to say, speaking of Leo, which famous movie actor made his film debut?
Leonardo DiCaprio was in 3.
Oh, no, it wasn't his film debut, was it? Gilbert Grape was his debut.
No, his debut was Chris 3.
Oh, Chris 3 was his debut?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
the first thing he was in.
Yes. It's amazing how some of the big stars of today debuted in horror franchise sequels that no one gives a shit about, like Paul Rudd in Halloween 6.
5, I think.
5 or 6?
It's 5 or 6.
It's the one where he dies, and it's all about...
Oh, right. Yeah, it's probably 6 then.
But it's so strange. It's just like, oh God, there's little Leonardo DiCaprio in Critters 3.
Yeah, it's not a good movie, but those first two are pretty fun.
They're fun. I enjoy them to the point where I have them. Like, I saw enough of them to go, I'll buy the box set.
Yeah, Terrence Mann's in all of them.
Yeah, God. So they are vicious little flesh-eating monsters that turn into balls.
They're like little hedgehogs, but they have a massive mouthful of loads of rose
they
teeth.
have maws.
Yeah,
they have a maw.
They can roll into balls and roll around, and they can fire poison quills from their back like porcupines, which will like paralyze you so they can feast. They have a very cruel sense of humour.
They are intelligent.
They talk in sort of this weird mix of... I think it's like a weird mix of French and Japanese sort of mix, and like little babble, but she's subtitled in the movie, so you can tell what they're saying. Yeah. And they're quite...
So they're alien invasion films.
Yeah, because in the first one, they escape from a prison, from an intergalactic prison, at the start of the first one and make it way to Earth, and then bounty hunters are chasing them.
Because that's the other hook of Critters, is that they're a space age bounty hunters.
Yeah,
in pursuit of them.
Uggan Lee.
Yeah. Who are...
They're shapeshifters, so they blend in with wherever they go. So, in the first one, one of them takes the shape of Terrence Mann's rock singer. Yeah. Because he likes the music video. Because you basically want, like, Space Bounty Hunter Bowie chasing after... Because it had a tie-in single. Power of the Night.
Yeah, oh god! I forgot about that.
And the other one can't just settle on a form, so he just keeps changing whenever he meets someone new.
Yes, which is quite a funny gag.
Yeah, which in the second one leads to him taking on the form of a Playboy model for a lot of it.
So that's why he takes on the form of a Playboy model, because he likes it, not because they want to put a Playboy model on the posters.
That's how they... Well, you want it in the posters.
Yeah, the posters are just close-ups of the Critters. Yeah, like... These posters are completely indistinguishable from each other because they're all just the same picture of Critter.
And they're not like... Yeah, it's just... But, yeah, to the point where he first morphs into the Playboy model and he morphs into and he has a staple in his midriff.
Yes.
Because that's what the centerfold is, and then peels it out. Oh. So yeah, those first two are pretty fun.
There's some fun stuff in there. But the thing is, they're not
great.
Yeah, there's a reason why all these reactionary Gremlins related movies came out, yet we all still only really talk about Gremlins.
Yeah.
It's because Gremlins was the only good movie of that boom.
Yeah.
But Critters was fun.
Yeah.
Fun enough that New Line Cinema sold the rights.
It's been one of those horror franchises that's been bouncing around and being talked about being rebooted or remade in decades at this point. Like Hellraiser has been.
And Hellraiser has had its reboot.
No, they've continued it, but they haven't remade it or rebooted it yet.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, but they've recast Pinhead.
Yes.
And originally he auditioned for a remake, but then it turned out.
No, he auditioned for.
Or is he signed on to play him if they remake it?
No. It's just it was his own project. It wasn't a remake. It was always a sequel.
Yeah.
But they couldn't get Doug Bradley back for one of the sequels, so they had to recast someone else. And the sequel after that, they did a proper audition process for it and got someone else.
Oh, so there's been 3 Pinheads.
Yes.
Bleeding hell.
And
that's why I thought there was a remake.
It's currently in limbo, so to speak. They've been talking about doing a new version of The Blob with Samuel L. Jackson.
Why?
I don't know.
Why Samuel L. Jackson? That's got to be one of those where he's gone out and said... A studio said to him, Sam, what movie do you want to make? And he's gone like, I really like The Blob. And they've gone, all right, let's do a version of The Blob.
Really, Sam?
The perfect version of The Blob exists. It's the 80s remake.
Yeah. That is a pretty great film.
It's horrible.
It's horrifying.
I love it.
It's fucking terrifying
Shawnee
as a
Smith.
child. Shawnee Smith and what was the guy called? I can't remember. I'm going to look it up.
Thingamabob. Everyone always says obviously Steve McQueen original, like The Blob, but no, like you want to see that concept done.
Kevin Dillon.
You want to see that concept done in a way where it's horrifying. You watch the 80s version of The Blob because it is like, oh, it eats people. Yeah, it's basically a giant sentient stomach.
The 50s one is just boring. It's straight up boring.
It just has an iconic shot in it,
and it's Steve
of
McQueen.
It pouring out of the cinema. Like it has an iconic shot. That's it,
and it's an early Steve McQueen role, so people remember it for that.
Yeah. Whereas in reality, the true horror of it is best. Yeah, so don't remake that. Now,
funny,
there is nothing wrong with horror franchises carrying on. I mean, we'd be hypocritical if we said that it was a bad idea to carry on a done franchise, because we're fans of that shit. We do enjoy that stuff. And some franchises do continue to live on and then move to TV. For example, the Exorcist TV series.
Which I've watched most of the first season of and I quite enjoy.
And it's not necessarily a follow-on from the films, is it? It's more of a sort of...
To clarify, that would be to
spoil
give
it.
too much away.
Okay, so it is connected to the films.
Yeah.
Okay, then. Right, so...
But exactly how...
Because if it wasn't, you'd just say, yes, it's separate.
Exactly how and why, to explain
Time
how
travel.
would be to give too much away.
Alternate universe. Oh my god, it's an alternate universe.
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's not an alternate universe. It is not an alternate universe.
The Exorcist Extended Universe.
Yes.
So it can be...
EU.
So it can be done. Freddy's Nightmares doesn't really count because that was obviously just anthology horror stories with Freddy narrating them for reasons, and then he appeared in like one of them.
And that's a charitable sort of interpretation of that. Tales from the Crypt went from the other way, from being an anthology TV show to being a series of anthology films.
Yeah.
The only one of which I've seen is the fucking fabulous Demon Knight.
I've not seen that one.
Billy Zane Knight.
The Crypt Keeper's an amazing puppet.
Yeah, and
my
also the
God.
Crypt Keeper.
That animatronic is stunning.
But yeah, you don't get a lot of these things that make the jump from film to TV well.
Yeah, I mean, I'd argue I've got high hopes for the upcoming what is now known as Chucky.
Yes,
it was Child's Play, but it's now called Chucky, which is continuing the Child's Play series.
I mean, that movie's probably going to be fine, but it's not.
Oh no, but I mean they'll have changed the name of the show
I know.
to distance it from the remake.
I think regardless of whether it's...
It also makes sense because the series has been known as Of Chucky since the fourth one. So
but also I think that there's not the continuation we want, but that movie's probably going to be fine.
Yeah.
Admittedly, it's not what we want.
Yeah.
But you know, if the series happens or not, we will still get some more Child's Play in some form.
Yeah, with Brad Dourif.
Yes.
He's confirmed. He's confirmed to be working on the TV transition.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they were like, oh, yeah, and Fiona Dourif. Oh, and Jennifer Tilly. Like, yes, please. And Alex Vincent. I
think Jennifer Tilly's already said she's involved.
She's definitely involved in some way, but I don't think she's confirmed that she's signed to be in it.
Okay.
One of the theories is that it's going to be a series of interconnected stories, separate stories, with different dolls. Because, of course, in Cult, he can split his soul. Yeah. It's like Horcrux style. He can split his soul into different bodies.
Yes!
So that would be great, because then Brad Dourif just has to basically be in the voiceover studio for a couple of weeks, and we get some puppet murder stuff, and we get some people in voodoo situations, and so that'd be nice.
That's pretty good.
Ash vs. Evil Dead is great.
Oh, of course, I did make the transition. I watched the first few episodes of it and loved it.
Do you want to borrow it? Because, my God.
Netflix now, I think.
Is it?
Fly
through it.
The first season definitely.
If you get up to it and it stopped, let me know, because we've got season 1, 2, and 3.
I didn't finish the first season, but I liked
3 seasons.
Really liked what I saw of it.
It ended prematurely. They sort of had a feeling that they weren't going to get a 4th season.
Yeah.
So just to preempt it, they wrap up at the end of season 3, and then Bruce Campbell announced like, I'm done playing Ash now. I'm done playing.
No more Ash.
I love playing him, but I'm kind of done. And because, without giving too much away, because the end of it ends on a cliffhanger. In the Army of Darkness style. Like, it ends on a cliffhanger that makes you go, wait, this is the premise now? No, I want more! And they've confirmed that would have been the 4th season.
Yeah.
A complete jump. Like, a complete change.
Excellent.
But again, in the Army of Darkness style, where it's like, this is mental.
Army of Darkness... Stylee! Stop fiddling with the microphone.
It's sort of, I caught the wire and I'm slightly worried that it's come out. But anyway.
Well, there's still a waveform.
Hello.
There's still a waveform.
Yeah, it's fine.
Hello there, my friend.
No, don't do that.
I love you, microphone.
Definitely don't do that.
I love you, baked potato. So, the transition can work, but this Critters thing looks cheap as balls.
It looks really cheap. I mean, there's been a couple of fan films, and it looks like those.
I saw that brought up the other day.
Because
there's a trailer for a fan film that I watched.
Yeah.
That looked better than this.
Yeah. Because this isn't being made by anyone who works on the originals.
Yeah. So it's an odd one.
But they're also doing Killer Clowns.
Now that I'm interested in. Because Killer Clowns from Outer Space is one film. We don't really know what they are. There's no lore there. It's just these aliens arrive.
From outer space.
They look like clowns. Their weapons and murderous thingies are all clown or circus themed. They don't speak. They're just these silent, lumbering things.
Yes.
That to me is interesting. Like, I'm like, okay, tell another story of this. I'm curious. Don't just make it a retelling of the movie over the course of like 6 episode series. Do something with it.
Yeah.
But Critters, a new binge.
Yeah. It's happening.
Yeah, I just hope... I hope we here in Urap get what we've got with a lot of the other streaming services that aren't available in the UK.
No, Shudder is available in the UK.
Oh,
Yeah,
tits.
it's an Amazon Prime channel as well.
Oh!
But you have to... No, the Prime channels are
Yeah,
channels that you subscribe to within Amazon Prime.
I wonder if we'll get, like, Ep 1 free, and that's, like, the
maybe.
trail for it. Because they've done that with a couple of things before. They've just gone, here's the first one,
Yeah.
go watch the rest.
I don't know,
So,
I wouldn't try and sell a subscription service off the back of this, 'cause it looks hella cheap.
yeah.
But the movie selection on Shudder is really, really good.
Yeah, that's...
Like, the amount of stuff
that's
that's on there is, like, because a lot of, like, the more obscure horror stuff that I really want to see isn't on Netflix or Amazon Prime.
Used to be. Netflix used to have a lot of obscure horrors, and now it's mostly...
And it sometimes does have some
now it's mostly
obscure horrors.
Blumhouse and Blumhouse adjacent stuff from the last, like, 10 years.
With the odd 80s classic popped in here and there.
Yeah. We were looking through Netflix the other day. What was it we were looking through? Children and family films, because Lee just wanted to put on something, like, light and breezy in the background. And we were going through it, and we were like... There was, like, 60 choices. It's like, that's very small. This wasn't series, this was films. It was like, that's very small for Netflix. About 30 of them were Asian imports. Yeah. Like Indian series, dubbed or subtitled.
They're actually really good for that Netflix. They do bring a lot of, like, Asian stuff over.
Yeah. But then it was like, where are the recognisable names? Where are the recognisable franchises? It's just not on there. It's really, really weird. It's just almost like Netflix is not paying money for things, / other studios are creating platforms that are about to launch soon. Yeah.
But I think I also think that the selection is very different in the US as well.
Have you heard about BritBox, whatever it's called?
Oh yeah, the BBC and ITV one. BritBox,
where people are now going, so I don't need to pay my TV license then, I can just subscribe to this. To which the BBC's reaction is, no, I mean, still pay your TV license, guys. It's like, yeah. Whereas I, as a once fan of television, I don't really give a shit about TV as much now, but like, I'm like, there's not really many ITV current things I would want to binge or watch or box set. Like the dramas, but I can just watch that on ITV player.
Yeah.
Or if you want to put old school programming on there, yeah, maybe I'll dip in. Like archive stuff, which is what iPlayer has started doing.
Yes.
And I'm really glad that they are. They need to figure out the system of how to navigate.
The BBC's got a fucking ridiculous archive of great TV.
Well, they started that thing, didn't they, called BBC... I can't remember what it's called. It's not BBC Store, but it was connected to BBC Store. And it was basically, if you suggested a programme and there was enough demand for it, they'd look for it, find it, patch it up if they could, and then put it on the digital store to buy.
Well, they had to give the restoration team something to do after they'd done all the Doctor Who.
Well, I was one of those people who was like, Kenny Everett. Kenny Everett content. Find it, put it out there. If you put all the BBC Kenny Everett shows on for like 30, 40 quid, I will buy it. I want access to BBC Kenny Everett. It's better than the ITV stuff.
True.
Which was fine, but that's the only Kenny Everett you can commercially buy.
Yeah.
Is the ITV, is the complete Naughty Bits DVD, which is over here somewhere. Which is it. Where I'm like, no, I want to watch his BBC series, because that was my exposure to Kenny Everett, was a VHS of him, in the late 90s where they started releasing comedy classics, and it was just it was like an hour and a half compilation of something from one of their shows, like Morecambe and Wise one, and Eric Sykes' shows and things like that, and one of them was Kenny Everett, and it's one of the funniest flicking VHSs I ever watched. Like, it was worn after about a year of me finding it.
Excellent.
Because it was so funny, and I'm like, put it online instead of Critters. Shudder, if you could get hold of Kenny Everett's BBC back catalogue.
They only do horror stuff.
Well, you could put a filter on it.
Everyone's bleeding from the eyes.
Kenny Everett's dead. Just say it's from beyond the grave.
But that's not the BritBox that I'm interested in.
Oh?
I'm interested in... That's such a terrible segue.
Did we ever do anything less?
I'm interested in the British version of Pokemon that we seem to be being promised on this box called the Switch, which isn't really a box, it's more of a tablet.
I mean, it's got a docking station. That could be a box, kind of.
We knew.
We can play it on the TV.
We knew. We all knew.
We all knew.
People who follow gaming news knew that there was a new Pokemon game coming for Switch later this year, and it was going to be the proper...
Wait, people who follow gaming news knew that there was a new...
New.
Applegrass.
New. I knew that she knew that I knew. So,
My love is your love, as your love is my love.
Oh, don't. So when there was a Nintendo Direct announced last week,
yeah, it was on like Monday.
like,
they went new Nintendo Direct this Wednesday.
It's gonna be like 7 minutes long. I was like, okay, well that's the Pokemon trailer then.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it was the reveal of Pokemon Sword and Shield for the Nintendo Switch, the first Generation 8 games. So it's the 8th generation of Pokemon games in the main series.
Complete with new Pokemon.
Although
I like how in their statement for that they put new Pokemon ?
Definitely,
And it's like you've introduced 3 new starters. You're definitely about to unleash another 80 plus Pokemon on us.
Definitely.
Like that's going to happen.
Early rumours suggested that the region was based on the UK.
The United
Because
Kingdom.
all the previous regions have been based off different parts of the world.
Yeah, there's been Americas and Japan.
The first 4 gens are all based off different areas of Japan.
Yeah.
Gen 5's Unova region is based off the metropolitan New York area and surrounding parts. Gen 6's Kalos is based off France.
Yeah.
Gen 7's Alola is based off Hawaii.
Yeah.
And it seems that Gen 8's Galar region is based off the UK.
Yeah, I mean, Sword and Shield is very sort of nice.
Very nice. You've got like this big clock tower in one of the things. You've got the sort of Pictish sort of figures carved on a hillside in one of the shots of
the gameplay shots.
Yeah, like you do, like the Cornish.
You've got dales.
There
are dales.
Fields.
Big old fields.
The female trainer's wearing a little tam o' shanter, which is and a little cardigan, which has led to lots of Scottish accent jokes.
Is that where they started because of that?
Yeah, it started off with like people going out and going, "Oh, imagine if Pokemon sounded like Scottish Twitter."
And then you showed me that video, which was miraculous.
Get fuck!
I'm your dad, says Pikachu as he electrifies an Eevee.
See, I didn't play Let's Go because I don't have a Switch, and I was waiting for this. Not because I don't want to play Let's Go. I think a lot of people were snobby about
Let's Go.
About Let's Go. It's like, oh, it's not a real Pokemon game.
Like, whereas it's great for newcomers because it made us go, right, should we start saving up to get a Switch?
Yeah.
Like, Lou and I were like, should we save up to get a Switch? And one of us get Eevee and one of us get Pikachu.
Yeah.
And, like, you're going to work, you take it to work with you. You know, if I'm going somewhere, I'll take it with me. And then we've got,
fine.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Yeah. But yeah, it's...
But this has now made me go, yeah, by the end of the year, let's get a Switch.
Yeah.
Because we're also remodeling the living room.
I think I'm going to get a Switch.
Like, fully structured cabinets in those thingies. So we're console placements. It's really nice. Got a bit of money to one side.
Rumours are that we're going to get a slightly redesigned Switch this year.
Yeah.
Like some sort of slimming down, sort of streamlining of the design.
Focusing on the portable slightly.
Possibly we might be getting a portable only one. That's one of the things that's been floated.
That loses part of the appeal to me slightly, unless of course it's like a really sort of reduced physical, a physical console. So it's effectively the successor to the DS. If it's a Switch that is a lot smaller,
well, it already is.
I know, but I mean, like if they were making it a portable only alternative, like a PS Vita sized kind of thing.
I don't think they'll make it that small because
it wouldn't have the Joy-Cons. Like it'd just be games that are based on.
But that's again This is all rumour and speculation.
So was Pokémon Sword and Shield until they did the Nintendo Direct on Wednesday.
They confirmed that there was they confirmed before Let's Go came out.
Yeah.
When they announced Let's Go, they got the director of I think it was Junichi Masuda, the director of the Pokemon series over at Game Freak, be like, "Oh yeah, don't worry, we've got an actual proper Pokemon game coming. That's going to be out late next year. Don't worry about it.
You're going to love it, fam.
Yeah, we're working on it now." So we knew that this year there was going to be a main series Pokemon game on the Switch.
It was coming. It was just a case of when are they going to say something?
They hadn't announced anything about it, and then now they have, and it looks like a Pokemon game on the Switch. It looks a bit more like the environments look a little less grid-like because they're not remaking.
When I was a kid, I remember doing this. I must have been 8 or 9. I remember designing, drawing a Pokemon game.
Yeah.
And because I was a kid of the PlayStation, but I was a Game Boy kid as well.
Yeah.
It was a PlayStation style game. Like it was a third person running around sort of thingy.
A bit like what the GameCube Pokemon games we got.
Yeah.
XD and Colosseum.
Yeah. This looks like that to me. Like this took me back. This took me back to imagining that.
I can see it.
Doodling. Because again, it's a very third-person style sort of camera setup.
I can dig it. Yes, I can.
I think Let's Go has been a great introduction to reel in old fans and nostalgic fans.
Yeah.
Because I imagine that would have sold a bunch. I mean, they released Switches for Let's Go. Like, there were Switches with Eevee and Pikachu designs on with the game. My friends, like, pre-built in and stuff.
My friend's kids both got a Switch each and Eevee and Pikachu for last Christmas. So, yeah, one of them's got the Eevee and well, they both got the Eevee and Pikachu Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
So you've got a yellow and a brown on each one.
So it's a great introduction to it. Like it's brought people in. It's brought new.
It's brought people back.
It's brought people back as well, which is it makes you realise how genius Pokemon Go was.
Well,
because that was sort of like, now we know that was the start of them luring.
As well.
Yeah, but that was the start of them bringing old school fans back. And that was the start of them getting parents to introduce it to their kids. And they're like, oh, I used to play this when I was a kid. Oh, this is great. It's been a slow build to this. Yeah. And now that a load of people have bought Let's Go, they've got the Switch. Hey, people who now own the Switch.
Hey,
do you want to play the new version? The new generation of Pokemon game that has a slightly sort of similar visual aesthetic to Let's Go, in that it's that, it's Pokemon but not as you know it.
The sort of overall aesthetic of Pokemon is a through line, so it's always kind of that feel. But each one just looks successively nicer. Like, I'm playing Diamond at the moment.
Yeah.
On the DS. It's an original DS game. I'm playing it on my 2DS. And that, you can just draw a straight line.
In case you didn't know, boys and girls, Matt is quite a big fan of this franchise.
I'm a Pokemaster. I've played them all.
He's a Pokeboy.
I've caught them all. I've got complete Pokedex on... I've got a fully complete Pokedex on Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which is 721 Pokemon.
Hot diggity. I've trailer somewhat. With the new capture card, we can really easily play some N64 Stadium and shit.
Yeah, but it's difficult to get Game Boy teams imported, and that's the real fun of that game.
You say that. Last time I tried it 2 years ago, my red cartridge did read. Yeah, it was my save file. It hadn't corrupted yet.
We'll look into it.
We'll see.
I do want to stream Stadium, but I want to do it on real hardware, not emulation, and I want to do it with
dirt.
I want to do it with Game Boy saves.
Well, what are we waiting for, chum?
Because I can make all that stuff work by emulation, but I can't.
What the bloody hell are we waiting for? He says, holding the cartridge pack for the N64 controller. I can't get my red, blue, and yellow
virtual console saves onto those cards.
Yeah,
there are ways to do it, but I haven't got the right stuff to do it with.
In the meantime, then, you can be jealous of my Snorlax.
Well, I'm just going to do Colosseum first.
Well, in the meantime, then, you can be content with your version.
Because I can do it with the Gen 3 stuff.
Your vastly superior console.
I've got all the right hardware for all that to talk to each other. I just don't have I don't have an N64 for a start.
God damn it.
But yeah.
You can touch mine.
Anyway, Pokemon Sword and Shield.
N64 Sword and Shield.
You've got 3 new starters.
What are the names?
Grookey, the little grass monkey bird thing. Score Bunny, the lightning fast fire bunny, and Sobble, everyone's favourite traumatised water chameleon thing, who is
sad lizard teardrop beast.
Oh, I can't wait to get a Sobble. I already know which starter I'm picking. I'm picking Sobble straight off.
I wonder how many people have already decided because of what he looks like.
Oh yeah. Sobble's popular. People just want to protect them, protect and nurture them.
He must be protected at all costs.
Or it might be a she. Pokemon have genders.
They may be protected at all costs. They must be protected at all costs.
Although
where is he?
They have gender ratios.
There's your tweet about Sobble. Look at Sobble's face.
Look at him. He's seen some.
He's seen some shit.
Or her.
She's seen some stuff. Well, I like the sort of anxious hands.
Well, because the little chameleon hands.
Yeah, but they're sort of bunched forward, like. Ooh.
They've got the little sort of Lego claws that chameleons have.
The little Ice Warrior hands.
Yeah, but because
Lego claws.
But it makes them look worried because they're sort of like anxiously because they can't close their hands.
Lego claws brings me Danish building toys for Christmas.
Oh, that's terrible. Yeah, Pokemon Sword and Shield, it's coming.
In your face.
It's gonna be great. Oh, before we move on to the bagging on a film director, did you see the leak of the Sonic design for the movie?
Yes, I did. So, as per most movies nowadays, boys and girls, the merchandise has revealed shit. If you want,
this isn't even the merchandise. This is the company that put together the style guide.
Yeah,
and it got leaked,
and it's out there.
Yeah.
don't go looking for the Avengers Endgame Lego sets. Just don't. A French toy manufacturer fucked it up.
Yeah.
I saw it by accident. I'm really annoyed. Anyway,
so
because
sorry.
I now know what one of the set pieces is.
Mind you, that being said, there have been set pieces in Lego sets before that aren't in the film.
True, but based on something from the trailer, this one looks plausible.
Okay.
Okay. So,
yes.
Sonic. Yeah, I don't hate it,
I don't like it.
but it does make me question the physics of the posters we've seen so far.
It's not very good.
No, he's got two eyes. He was always going to have two eyes instead of one
Because you
big
can't
eye.
do the mono eye. Yeah.
They never do two eyes ever.
The mon eye.
I say that as a former Dennis the Menace. They never do the mono eye. They always give him two eyes. Cowards. So there is that.
But can you imagine Ben Schwartz's voice coming out of that thing? Yes.
I think when Sonic's on, yeah, I think when
Yeah,
Sonic's on screen, I'm just going to close my eyes and listen to Ben Schwartz.
Yeah.
Hail to the milkman, the milkman, the milkman.
I'm not.
He brings all the milk and he gives it to men.
We're getting
Hail to the milkman.
We're getting Detective Pikachu and Sonic the Hedgehog in the same year, so we're getting the rise and fall of video game movies in the same year.
Yeah, someone tweeted about that. I think was it Lindsay Ellis or someone
I think
said like
a movie Bob was like,
Movie Bob. We said like Detective Pikachu. Like, everybody's got the rights to talking animal console game franchises from the 80s and 90s. Sell them in the weeks after Detective Pikachu for big cash before Sonic removes all goodwill.
You've got 6 months to cash in before it all goes down again.
We've not seen Carey yet. We've seen a photo of him on set as looking like an old man. We've not seen him in full Robotnik
James
yet.
Marston's the sheriff of Green Hills.
I'm morbidly curious about this film.
Why
doesn't he have gloves? Why are his hands white fur? He doesn't have gloves.
Because he just has hairy hands.
But he's also... So his feet aren't red. He's still wearing trainers.
And also they don't have the stripe on. They're red trainers with white laces. They don't have the white stripe on.
You watch, he'll get them. He'll get them in the film at some point.
But that's like an iconic part of his design.
He'll get them in the film and there'll be a tie-in release with like Nike or someone.
Ooh.
I guarantee it.
But listen... It's important to support Sonic the Hedgehog.
Gotta go fast.
Because it really helps to, reinforce the sanctity and honour the sanctity of the cinema-going experience.
Oh, God.
As per the opinion of one Steven Spielberg, little indie director.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah,
he did that little film, didn't he?
He's trying to get the Academy Award to not allow Netflix-produced films or films produced by streaming services to be eligible for Oscars. Now, TV movies are already ineligible.
Now.
Because they have the Emmys for those things. That's where they're honoured.
Yeah. Let's just check something here for a second.
Yeah.
What Netflix films have been nominated /won so far? Okja was nominated, wasn't it? For something.
No, it couldn't be nominated.
It couldn't be nominated.
Didn't I get what they wanted?
Oh, it didn't have a certain amount of screenings.
Yeah. So, but they managed to do it with Roma.
Roma did. So Roma has broken the mould.
Yeah.
This makes it seem, before we get into it, like a petty vendetta against Roma.
A vendetta?
Because Roma is the only example, and it's already happened, and he's now trying to beat it back instead of accept it or just keep his mouth shut.
Also, you made Ready Player One, dog. Like...
No, he made 4 scenes of live-action actors talking to each other in Ready Player One. I have a lot of respect for Steven Spielberg as a filmmaker. He tells some incredible stories.
But he's wrong on this one.
He's wrong.
He's wrong on this one.
So he's saying the Oscars are for celebrating cinema.
Cinema doesn't mean what it used to.
Yeah, if you want cinema to just be people going en masse in a massive, like, sold-out crowd to see a film on the big screen,
they know it doesn't really.
You're going back to the fucking 30s.
Because also, if it's celebrating mass cinema, that idea of the cinema, then why is it the highest grossing films that get nominated?
Yeah.
Why wasn't Infinity War nominated?
Yeah.
You know
because it's not about cinema, it's about which representatives for a movie blow the white crusty dudes.
Yeah. That's what it's about.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe he's on the voting board and no one from Roma came and felt his balls. No one fondled his balls from Roma, so he's annoyed.
It's fingering. It's gatekeeping. Because
he also argued that Roma spent, I believe, the most money on its Oscar campaign out of the Best Picture nominations.
Probably.
Because Netflix were, of course, like, right, we've never done
We want
this.
this.
We want this here.
And they did give it the requisite cinema screenings and release to make it eligible. And it's not like
Now I agree that the film that's being nominated should be placed into the classic setting for a limited run. Yeah. Not as a qualifier, but just because it's like the film should sort of have a crowd viewing in some way, because there is different ways to gauge it. I think as a reviewer, even getting a review copy or watching it at home is way different from sitting in a room full of people who've come to watch the movie and feeling how it plays to the room. I don't think some of the best reviewers acknowledge how it plays to the room.
I don't think legitimizing
because then they say
content,
my experience was this, but people around me were experiencing this, and they said this.
But I don't think legitimizing Netflix content is going to harm the cinema industry. What's harming the cinema industry is the fact that going to the cinema is a fucking ball ache. Because as much as you want to see how something plays to a room, a lot of the time the room's just full of fucking dickheads who won't shut up.
If the cinema
or on Snapchatting on their fucking phones.
If the cinema experience were cheaper, it were full of people who have come to watch the film.
Who pays £15? And people do pay £15 to go and see a film and then sit in there on the phone the whole time.
What was it we watched where it was just like there were people just proper chatting away the whole time?
Oh, I can't remember.
And I think we moved closer to the screen because of it. That's when we saw
we
it.
had a fucking shit time in it. Great movie, but the audience was awful.
It was terrible. It was like sort of later age teens, like about 10 years younger than us.
Yeah.
And they just were chatting the whole time.
So you give me the choice of that experience, or you give me the choice of watching a movie on a nice TV with a nice sound system in my home whenever I want.
Yeah, well, that's part of his argument as well, has been in previous years. This isn't the first time Steven Spielberg has raised these concerns.
No. When was the last time Spielberg paid full whack and went to a fucking urban multiplex?
When was the last time he went to the frickin' like the mall and watched a film?
Yeah,
never.
He's not gonna
he's not
taking to the fucking Trafford Centre Odeon on a weekend. He'll soon change his fucking tune.
It's so... Oh, God. Anyone would. You could bring a new trumpet into that place and it would leave sad. It would leave looking like a limp clarinet.
Ticket price through the fucking roof as well, man.
I think the main reason we pay for Odeon Limitless isn't necessarily because we love cinema so much that we're like, we can guarantee going to see so many films. It's because it is cheaper.
A month of Odeon Limitless is cheaper than one visit to the Trafford Centre.
That's true. There's no reason to go to the Trafford Centre now, by the way, unless you want golf, the cinema, and it's your nearest cinema, or Five Guys, because HMV's closed.
Yeah, HMV's gone. Hamleys is
They
gone.
announced it, and it closed the next day.
Hamleys was shit anyway.
The employees from that HMV were unemployed the next day.
That's fucking ridiculous.
Gross, isn't it? It's still full of stuff. I was there 2 weeks ago, and like the windows, you can still see that everything's full. They've not moved the stock yet or anything. It's all just
you can't afford to pay anyone to do it.
Yeah, stupid. That's also because of the rent as well, like the rent from Into. But
yeah, Into had some buyers pull out of a takeover bid because they were charging too high rents for the shops and losing businesses.
Yeah, well, think about how many plots in the Trafford Centre for the last 3 years have just been empty. They've just been the billboards, and you're like, when's this getting bought? When is this getting bought?
They can't afford the rents.
Rent is too damn high.
Rent is too damn high.
So Spielberg is talking about keeping the sanctity of the theatrical going experience, but that is the thing.
There is no sanctity to it anymore.
In the 70s and the 80s, people went to see a movie they wanted to see. That house was packed full of people who wanted to see that movie. The size of multiplexes now, the amount of screens, the amount of screenings of certain films. Some people now just do it as a DOS. Some people go, just go and watch a movie. Not because they want to see the film, but let's go watch the movie. And as such, it's not like that they're going, now, if the film's great and they have a great time, they come out and going, that was really good. I enjoyed that, and I'm so glad we went to watch that. It was a complete surprise. But a lot of the time, they are just sat on the phone. They're sat having a chat. They're just doing it to do something. Which, again, baffles us, because we're like, why are you spending $12.50
teenagers who
to sit in a room?
Parents to just fucking go away for an afternoon.
Yeah.
But it's also, studios are fucking up the cinema experience by... look at what Disney did with The Last Jedi.
Oh, yeah.
You have to give us more of a cut of the ticket prices. You have to put it in more of your screens for a longer period of time, so you can't show as many other films at this busy time of the year. Because December's become a busy time for big family movies. Because more people are...
Especially in the States. They have Christmas Day releases in the States still.
We have Boxing Day releases over there now.
Yeah.
It's just... You can't... If you want to protect the sanctity, if you want to protect the legitimacy of cinema, going after the wrong people, it ain't on Netflix. I mean, Netflix has its problems, But
Netflix is going to crash and burn at some point because of how much in debt it already is.
the movies that they make deserve every bit of the same chance at recognition that any cinema release movies do.
The TV series.
Yeah?
Their investment to bring... Because here's the thing as well, he's saying, like, cinema should be celebrated. Well, Stephen...
Well, you're not celebrating it, though, are you? Because it's not in a
people are discovering
traditional cinema.
People are discovering films they would never have watched before because they're scrolling through their recommend and going, what's that? Click,
also,
watch. Like, they're learning more and appreciating more about art that has been and gone. Because that's the other thing he keeps complaining about. You say, shouldn't be regarded as cinema. Like, Stephen,
it is.
Stephen, the cinema you talk about exists for 3 weeks and then it goes. Like, that experience, that physical experience. It's then gone. Now, if you love it that much, Stephen, how about you pay, I don't know, say, a certain amount of money so that Amblin Entertainment's back catalogue and anything associated with yourself, if someone wants to watch it, they can go to their cinema and ask to watch it, and then it gets pulled up on a screen. Yeah. Is that how you want it, Stephen? Is that what you want to do? Because that's not possible, Stephen. That's not fucking
Bring back
possible.
repertory cinema.
Yeah. Well, think about it. Think Odeon at the Printworks before it moved to the AMC. They've not rescheduled it to this size yet, but they used to do like a lot of Odeons around the country do this, but they used to do secret screen. I think they call it secret screenings or blind screenings or something. Or you just go in.
Stuff.
Yeah. Or you just but not just for new stuff. You just go in. You pay a ticket. It's a reduced ticket, but concessions. Everyone, it's like a gamble. You go in, you sit down. You don't know what's going to be shown. They show a film.
Adam Sandler.
New, old, like they just show a movie. And that's a really fun, that's a community thing. That's people who are going go on, let's do it. This will be fun. They do retro nights where they specifically screen a certain film.
Yeah.
And if they're really savvy with it, they tie it into stuff. Like they get promoters in or they do a competition.
They help host local film festivals. Things
like that stuff's great. Now that's the cinema I think he's really trying to champion in terms of the idealised version.
But it's rare now.
And it's rare.
Rare now.
So fund that. Put money into that.
Yeah.
Hey, why not, I don't know, Stephen, add Netflix original movies into that? There you go. Now they're being enjoyed in the cinematic thing. Because that's the thing. Why does he feel threatened?
I don't know.
Like, there's no reason for him to give a shit.
What's he defending?
He's a director, he's a producer, he's an owner of a company. He funds movies, he finances films. How does this affect him?
I don't know. I think...
He wasn't nominated for Best Picture this year.
It's because he made Ready Player One.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not like he's got a personal beef with Roma, but it looks like that.
Yeah,
because of this. But Rome didn't even win the Best Picture.
No,
like Alfonso Cuarón got Best Director, and I think he said in his statement like he's like, I have no qualm with that. It's amazing. It's incredible work. It's like, well, then why have you got a problem with
what's the problem then?
The film being considered? Fuck.
And like also, one of the things that that's great about these streaming services making their own original movies is that, and obviously this has mixed results, but stuff is getting made and seen that wouldn't otherwise have a chance to get made or seen in the first place.
Yeah.
That's not always a good thing.
Studios pass like crazy, so these services go, we think that's great, let's do it. Especially when the acclaimed actors, directors and writers and stuff come to them and say, hi, we want to make this.
Yeah.
And Netflix go, are you fucking kidding me?
I'd argue...
Yeah. If we can get the budget to this, we can do that. Fantastic. Let's make it.
I'd argue...
You make your movie. And they also take a back seat.
Yeah.
Netflix are... It's very openly discussed that the bigwigs of Netflix step back and let the creators make what they want to make.
Yeah.
Which is so refreshing. And you can see why filmmakers and TV projects are going to Netflix now. Because it's like, we want to make this thing. We want to make it as we want to make it. You want to make it as you want to make it. Yes, Netflix. Great. Well, here's the money. Go do it.
That's not always for... the best in terms of the end product, because
like Bright and shit like that.
Bright is awful, and Bird Box is mediocre,
but overrated like crazy. But then you look at things like
at least we got them.
But you look at TV projects like Lemony Snicket. You look at co-productions where like AMC and Netflix fund together, like Breaking Bad and things like that, where like companies work together to do it, and it yields some really good. Like I would say the better Netflix currently could change outweighs the worst Netflix originals.
I don't know. I think there's more bad stuff.
It's creeping up. I think. I think in terms of the impact they've made, because you forget the bad stuff. You forget it eventually. You move on. I think
some of that bad stuff, that early bad Netflix stuff, isn't even on there anymore.
Ooh, no,
things like Hemlock Grove
snuck that shit out. Films that have had trouble at the studio, like Jungle Book, then Jungle Book Origins, then Mowgli, then Mowgli Legend of the Jungle.
Yeah.
Like films like that survived because Warner's and Netflix came to that agreement and went, yeah, we'll have it. Like we'll absolutely have that.
Wouldn't take Holmes and Watson though.
It wouldn't take Holmes and Watson. But you know what I mean? It's and here's another point. Steven Spielberg, hi, I know you're listening.
Loved your work on Ready Player One.
Yeah, it's great. Especially like the bit with the real people.
You really made me believe Olivia Cook was a real logo.
Yeah, actually, I mean, what that birthmark was horrifying.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what a minga. Anyway, like, massive respect to Steven Spielberg as a filmmaker. I adore it. Like, adore him. Jurassic Park in my top 5 easily. The guy's amazing. But on this, he is very wrong. And I shall say this, Stephen, for you definitely listening. It's not like you're busy.
No.
Old man yells at cloud.
Yeah, kind of.
You want people to do the cinema experience. Put money into theatres, mate.
Yeah.
Put some money into theatres. Help them renovate. Help them expand. Help them become better. Help them get to the point where they can lower their ticket prices, Stephen.
Help them employ enough staff to actually maintain the screens.
Because here's... And decorum. Employ stricter decorum. Like, put in money to help reinforce stricter decorum.
Don't just have a cute little thing saying, don't talk in the movie, yeah? You're in the middle of the row, I can see it. Fuck off.
No, like...
Don't have that shit. Actually have ushers in the screens telling people to shut the fuck up or get out.
Yeah. Like, people can be removed. Hell, take those screens where they have, like, a separate balcony section up top, put some soundproof glass on that shit, and say, if you want to talk during the movie, pay an extra £5 per ticket, and go and sit up there.
That's a dangerous road to go down, I don't like that.
It's a dangerous road to go down, but at least box them, and then we could gas them.
Fucking hell.
I'm kidding, I'm being facetious.
Oh my god.
For comedy. I wouldn't gas them, I'd just kick them.
Bad.
The only
Very
screens
bad.
where they should be talking and shit going on during the screens is ones that are designated for people with, say, hard of hearing, people with learning disabilities who need a comfortable environment, and obviously the carers and parents who want to take them there and enjoy the film together.
Sort of like the idea of like lights up showings. For folks with
what's it called? Oh god, what's it called? Relaxed. That's the
relaxed showings.
that sort of stuff. And kids' films are sort of, you kind of go into a kids' movie expecting a bit of noise, but we're talking about like the cinema experience Spielberg's talking about. Like, if you want that, Stephen, put the money into helping those places do that. But not only that, Stephen, think about this. How much does it cost on average for a movie ticket?
Oh yeah.
We have Odeon Limitless. Like, we are privileged enough to be able to afford in our designated funds every month from our respective line of income $17.99 a month to utilise Odeon Limitless. We do that because it is a money saver. We can go and see, if we see at least 3 films a month, we've technically seen 1 film for free.
Pretty much.
We like seeing films. We like seeing them in the cinema. We do have to talk about this podcast, but we also, guess what? Like going to the cinema.
I would probably have a Limitless regardless of whether I did this show or
yeah,
not.
like we would prefer the cinema experience be less gross, but like we like going to the cinema and we have fun doing it. We are of that we're of that generation where we go see the film, then we spend like the ride home or a meal afterwards chatting shit about the movie for like 3 or 4 hours.
Oh yeah.
Like we do enjoy that. But that's we pay for a Limitless card because effectively it is a cheaper way for us to do it more. People with kids can't do that. That's not how it works. Like, they're going to take their family to the cinema. It's going to cost, say, like 1 film, a parent, and 2 kids. You're talking, what, maybe 30 plus quid immediately there.
Plus
see
snacks.
1 film. Plus snacks. So you're talking 50 quid.
Which are a ridiculous markup.
Family of 4, it's probably about 60 quid average going to the cinema for them to do that. Like, that's a lot of money, Stephen. Do you know what they could spend 60 quid on, Stephen? Week's food shop. 2 streaming services. Do you know what they get for that, Stephen? A lot of films that they can watch at home. New and old, they can discover things and cherish them. Introduce their kids to stuff that their kids might not have seen before.
Yeah.
Their kids can introduce them to things. And the parents can go, oh, this is great. It's great, son. Or go, oh, actually, this is really fun. And have a good time. Netflix is keeping cinema alive. Streaming services are keeping cinema alive in a world where it is not always the easy option the affordable option
No.
to go out and see a film at the
It's not
cinema.
the affordable option.
Why do you think pirate culture is still as big as it is? Why do you think companies are developing boxes that mean you, the customer, are not doing anything illegal, and the existence of the tech isn't doing anything illegal? But the legal loophole, of course, means they can stream digital versions of movies now in cinemas to their TV, varying quality. The only illegal act being put out here is the manufacture of the boxes from the original creator, and they do all this stuff where they are non-traceable. There's all this new piracy out there.
Yep.
Because people can't afford to go to the cinema, Stephen.
And then also they just don't want to.
Some of them don't want it, but like they can't afford to go out to the cinema all the time and cherish these movies the way you want to, Stephen. So if their ideal way of consuming this media is at home, why not give them something new? Why not say, hey, here's a brand new film that you can only watch here? You know, just like, I don't know, going to the theatre. Netflix films are legitimate, Spielberg. Shut your damn mouth.
True.
True that!
Let's do some emails. They're true.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not fakey true.
I don't believe you,
Fakey or true.
but I do believe them.
Do you believe
In life.
Tom Monty?
No!
Do you believe?
Tom Monty killed my father
He says,
and burned my mother
Dear Chris and Matt,
and created my brother.
random question extravaganza!
Fiesta by the Pogues, buy it so they don't get sued.
This obviously came in just after we recorded last week's episode, but before it went out, because he asked, what are your thoughts on the controversy surrounding Green Book's Best Picture win at the Oscars of 2019? I think we covered that quite succinctly last week, but in other words, it's bullshit. Shouldn't have won. It's the safest choice.
Yeah, it really bloody is.
But hey, we're talking about an Academy that awarded Best Film to Crash and Shakespeare in Love and The King's Speech.
What lost the year of Shakespeare in Love again?
Saving Private Ryan.
Oh Christ, yeah. That's Spielberg.
Yeah. Why didn't he go against Shakespeare? Do you read many books? What was the last book you read? What is your favourite book of all time?
Oh my God.
Sorry, it's just that I've recently developed a passion for reading that I didn't have before, and would love to hear your thoughts on books. Books are good. I don't read as much as I'd like.
Yeah,
I always find myself doing other things with my time. But,
I read a lot more comics and graphic novels just because.
Yeah, I read a lot of comics.
I can dedicate smaller amounts of time to them.
Yeah, I feel like you can chunk through more in a short amount of time because of the visual aspects of it.
Yeah, and also just like, you know, it's more like a soap opera. Like you spend half an hour and you read a whole story, and you go, oh great. But I'll tell you this, for nout, when I was a teen, I really liked sort of, you know, fantasy and horror novels and stuff. But now that I'm older, I'm starting to get into biographies.
Biographies
or memoirs.
Yeah, memoirs can also be very good.
The last book I read and finished on my honeymoon was The Disaster Artist. I'd started it a year prior, and then I picked it up again and finished it. I loved that. That was great. And I recently revisited Cupid Stunts, which is a biography about Kenny Everett. Funnily enough, going back to Kenny Everett.
Of course. Which
is very good.
You should get some of Carrie Fisher's autobiographies for that ass.
For that ass?
For that ass.
Is that the name of the...
For your reading ass.
Oh. How did you know my eyes are in my ass?
What are they called? Wishful Drinking.
What a great name.
Postcards from the Edge. No, that's a novel. What are they called? Wishful Drinking. Princess Diarist.
That is a great... Oh my God! Did she write these just because she came up with the title? And then went, I've got to write a book now.
Princess Diarist was her last one.
Yeah.
And that is like covers like the immediate like sort of aftermath of Star Wars.
That was the one where that was the one where
Harrison Ford.
I was going to say where like she as she spoke to him whilst writing it and said, "Do you mind me talking about this publicly?" And he went, "Yeah, sure, go for it."
It's fine. But her memoirs are just fantastic. I
think we're both trying to find out what it's called.
She was a storyteller and a raconteur and all sorts of other things, and it really. Yeah, Postcards from the Edge was a semi-autobiographical novel, and she also
Shockaholic.
Yeah, Shockaholic, Wishful Drinking, and The Princess Diarist are her 3 autobiographies, and they are wonderful. She's frank and honest and unapologetic.
I just realised, like, it's Princess Leia's on the cover of all 3 of them.
Because she's Princess Leia.
I know, but isn't that I wonder how much clearance you have to go through for that.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, on one of them she's, like, clearly drunk on a cocktail. Another one, it's an action figure.
Yeah, but they're not...
Yeah.
You can't really see her face, so they're kind of... Apart from the last one.
Yeah, and even then it's just, like, her eye.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
They could probably get around it. But, yeah. What was the last book I read? Because I read a lot of... I had an Audible subscription for a while. I don't have it anymore. So I've listened to some stuff. I'm currently listening to the Pet Sematary audiobook. The last thing I finished?
Sometimes
Dad
is better.
I want to go down that road. So very, very, very good. I read a lot of short stuff. War of the Worlds was the last thing I read. I've read it before, but I've reread it recently because with the new adaptation coming out, I'm thinking about doing something about all the different adaptations of it.
I've heard of
good and bad.
Quails.
And there's a lot of bad ones.
You know, there's a good one directed by some indie film director.
Steven Spielberg.
Yeah,
that no one else likes.
Yeah.
I like it. No one else likes.
I like it.
Kanisha don't like it. My
like
friend Sam and Danny don't like it. Charlie doesn't like it.
I like it.
I like it.
I think
Lindsay Ellis doesn't like it.
I think setting it in modern day does remove part of the charm. Of the timelessness of it because of when it was set originally.
There's only been one period correct film adaptation, and it was straight to video and garbage. I was watching some footage from it last night. It is the worst. I'll show you a little bit after we're done, because you can't see it to believe it. But yeah,
no one would have believed that the straight-to-video adaptation of One of the Worlds would be terrible.
My Kindle favorite book of all time. Probably it'll be something by Stephen King. Probably It.
Yeah, it's leering at you from that shelf.
Yeah, it's very, very, very good. I like a lot of Stephen King
if you've ever wanted to read 7 pages describing a can of turtle wax, boys and girls,
it's the
read
book
it
for you.
I enjoyed it. That's one of the few Kings I've read. I really enjoyed it.
I don't read enough books, but I read it.
Which ones have I read?
My girlfriend's
I've got
really...
It and Cujo, but there's one I read that I got from the library, and I can't for the life of me remember which one it is. Skeleton Key.
Skeleton Key is a...
Anthology.
Yeah,
I read that one.
Skeleton Crew, not Skeleton Key. Skeleton Crew.
Okay.
Yeah. It's one of his short story anthologies. I've got that on Kindle, actually. It's very good.
I bought it from Swinton Library.
Nice. Kiki reads a lot. She reads a lot of fantasy. So I've read some Wheel of Time stuff. But it's a very long series, so I've not finished it. I've only read the first 3 books out of 14.
Bloody no!
But it's good.
That's a lot of book.
And it's getting a TV series adaptation in the wake of Game of Thrones.
Of course.
Which brings us... no. How much sleep do you get on average? What time do you usually sign off for the night? 6 to 7 hours, around midnight.
That's an odd question.
I know, right?
I'm a bit of a night owl. If I'm in a creative mood and I'm going to write or edit or whatever, I go to bed at like 3 and then get up around 10. But I'm freelance, so I have suppose the luxury of being able to get up a bit late.
I used to be like that, but the medication that I take has given me more of a set routine. Yeah,
which is good, really. Yeah. I mean, I don't benefit from having a later wake up.
No. I used to be like that all the time, but not so much anymore. Also,
recently because of the dog, I've been forcing myself to bed about 11.
And also living with someone who goes to bed relatively early, partly because she works a 9 to 5, and partly because she just needs more sleep than I do. It also means that I don't tend to stay up as late as often. Yeah, because I'm just downstairs on my own, going, should be upstairs and.
Could be spooning.
Yeah, it could be something, but no, I'm down here playing video games. Why am I upstairs? So I just go upstairs. Chris, are you planning on catching up on Game of Thrones before the final season begins in April, if you haven't already?
Yeah, trailer just dropped, didn't it? I can't wait. I can't wait for them to meet Shelob and throw the One Ring in Mount Doom. Yes, my... You
haven't got long.
My sister-in-law borrowed... the season 4 box box set about a year ago, and we're trying to get it back because it'll be the motivation for me. The moment it arrives, I'm going to say to myself, and go. And I'm going to plough through it. I aim to watch the entirety of it by the time the last episode of Series 8 is this? Series 7, Series 8?
This is Series 8.
We have the first 5 on Blu-ray.
Okay.
I intend to, and HMV have recently repackaged them all with these new cases.
But you can't get it from Trafford.
And as a result, yeah, I was in the one in Bury the other day.
You can smash the window and take it.
As a result, the Blu-ray box sets are $19.99. It's like, that's really cheap.
$19.99.
Yeah, that's really cheap. But I think it's because they're doing that whole sell as many as we can before we inevitably start stocking up on the complete box set.
Game of Thrones.
So I'm gonna fill in the gap and buy Series 6 and 7.
It's good, man.
Soon.
It's a good show.
I like what I saw.
Yeah.
I'm sure I've told the story of why I stopped watching it on here before.
Yes.
Shorthand version, was binging it with the wife, who was then not the wife, and nearly wasn't the wife because of that. I'm kidding. Back in 2012, and one day I came home and she'd skipped ahead 4 episodes because she'd had the day off, and I was like, oh, it's alright, no, you finished watching that one, and I just never went back. So I get recaps when it goes out on TV, so not for 2 years now.
No.
We'll be sat in bed and it'll be like 4 in the morning and the episode will have just gone out on US television.
Yeah.
She'll have watched it on the laptop.
Very good.
Although the last series she watched on Sky Atlantic or whatever,
Yeah.
because the UK did get it a few hours, I think, before the US, so that it came out on
yeah,
a Monday
it was,
night
yeah, it
and
was more or
stuff.
less there, yeah.
And she just turned to me like, oh, can I just talk about it? And I'm like, yeah, go for it. Tell me about these people I don't know.
Back when we were in drama school, because that was like Series 2, 3 time.
2012.
Me and Charlie would watch it every weekend.
Yeah, 2012. We started watching it then because we bought Series 1
Yeah.
to watch before Series 2 came out on Blu-ray.
It would come out, it would air on Sunday in the States the night before, and I would acquire a copy, and then we'd watch it pretty much at the earliest convenience that we could.
Balls o'clock.
Get together, yeah.
Yeah, because at that point it didn't have like a UK broadcaster on the reg, did it? It was later on
It was Sky Atlantic from the start.
Oh, Christ,
But
well, there you
had to have Sky
go.
Atlantic, and it
Yeah.
wasn't day and date, it was a couple of days after the US airing.
God.
So,
And in
it
the
might
age of
even
the,
be
and
like
in the
a
age of the
week after.
internet, that's not for the
No,
best.
not with that show. Matt, are you looking forward to seeing what happens? I am, because and I imagine George R. R. Martin is as well. Personally,
I think he said that it's stuff that he is still going to unquote going to do, but also some story paths that he's not going to do because he wants the viewer and the reader to have a different experience so that it's worth reading, which I think is a good call.
well, the apocryphal story is that one of the reasons he agreed to work with Benioff and Weiss to bring it to TV was because they kind of had a really good handle on where it was going.
Yeah, and he was like, "Oh, okay," but
yeah.
but he said that the eventual maybe release of the final book will be a different outcome.
Yeah.
So you have the 2 versions of it.
Well, it has to be because they've changed so much.
And the TV series has always done it slightly differently from the books, hasn't it? Like, for example, I've not seen Frodo or Sam once.
Personally, I was quite disappointed by season 7 and thought it suffered from fewer episodes and not having George R. R. Martin's novels as a basis, so my hopes aren't very high. And if you had to guess, who do you think will be sitting on the Iron Throne at the end of episode 6? Only 6 episodes in this season. If there's even an Iron Throne to sit on at that point. They have to run and said that one of the episodes in this season is going to have the biggest battle in film history.
In film history?
In film history.
Oh, I should nominate it for Best Picture.
It's going to be longer than the Siege of Helm's Deep from Lord of the Rings, Two Towers.
You should nominate it for Best Picture and tell Spielberg.
I actually liked the fact that season 7 didn't have the books to draw on. Because
it felt free.
It felt free.
I imagine.
I didn't know what was coming, and neither did George R. R. Martin. I have a theory. That George R. R. Martin has written himself into a corner with the end of book 5, and he doesn't know how to get himself out of it.
That's why it's taking so long.
By cutting certain plot points, the TV show has avoided that particular quandary.
You just reminded me of my favourite College Humor video of all time that I'd somehow forgotten.
With George R. R. Martin killing people.
It's just, when Josh Rubin's playing him, and he's it's just the interview with him about the books. It's so good. Was it? Your sorrow is my playground. Your tears are the fountain I frolic in. It's just like, what on earth?
Who will be sitting on the Iron Throne at the end of the series? I don't know.
Dumbledore.
I don't think there'll even be an Iron Throne at the end of the series. I think it's going to be so fucking apocalyptic.
That would be the irony. That would be the sweet irony of it all.
There is no Iron Throne to sit on. There's barely a land to rule.
Daenerys.
Probably. It won't be Jon, because the thing with Jon is that he is
Unless
the
it is Jon, because they're trying to do the symmetry of like he did earn like the Stark sort of honor and name and the end of it and all that shit.
The reason why Jon's a great character is he's an archetypal, straight up high fantasy hero character.
Yeah.
In a world where none of that genre's tropes work.
Yeah.
That's kind of the fun of Jon. He's so stoic and straight and like good. Like inherently good.
I mean, yeah, he's pure fantasy character. Like he gets freaking resurrected. Like he's pure fantasy character kind of.
But none of the tropes in that genre apply in this work. It's a deconstruction. So yeah, I don't think it'll be Jon. Maybe it'll be the Stark girls. Who knows? Who knows?
Well, I know something.
The White Walkers are going to sit on it.
I know something.
What?
The new Good Omens trailer just came out, so we should go and watch that.
Oh shit, son! Oh yeah, it is today. Oh, well, we'll do one last email and then we'll
do you know what? I agree,
because this one comes in from our friend, your friend, my friend, Charlie D. He's just Charlie D now.
Charlie D now. Charlie D now.
He says, ahoy, ahoy.
He's his streaming service. Charlie D now.
Charlie D now.
If you want Charlie, you stream him.
Charlie.tv.
Hi, Charlie.
Ahoy, ahoy, my big damn boys.
That rhymes.
As you may have seen recently on Twitter, in the last 15 plus years of stop-starts, Metal Gear Solid movie is once again at some point in development.
Yeah, okay.
What's slightly less grown-worthy than that piece of news is the ever-classy Oscar Isaac has thrown his hat in the ring to play the sort of titular hero himself, Solid Snake. Now, I pose ye both a question.
Not to be confused with Pliant Newt.
No. Although I pose
or Malleable Lizard.
Those are probably names in the series.
If Kojima had stuck around, they would have been the new new protagonists.
Now, I pose ye both a question.
I pose ye both.
Oh, this is of course more Matt's bread and butter / calorie mate. That's a Metal Gear Solid reference. That's very good. What the hell does a Metal Gear Solid film even look like? How would it work? Would it retell a story / stories from the games, or be an entirely new tale? Pitch me, boys. Pitch me hard. I want a basic through line of the plot, casting, writers, and director. I want it to be pretty tasty. I want it to be... Sorry, I'll do that as properly in character. I want it to be pretty tasty. Love, as always, Charles. The email comes with the title, Metal Gear Solid, the movie. Can't be.
Nice one.
Metal Gear.
I was going to say, the title of the movie has to be Metal Gear, but with a question mark.
Metal Gear?
Yeah, Metal Gear.
It can't be. Oh, but it is.
From what I know of Metal Gear, it better have a Japanese director. Western studio, fine. Japanese director, Japanese sensibility. Reason? Because it's got to look like an American hero military bullshit thingy on the surface, and it has to not be that at all.
Jordan Vaught Roberts is attached at the moment, who did
Dreams.
Skull Island, I think.
Okay, yeah. Just trade the masochism and the sadism for wacky hijinks in cardboard boxes instead.
Yeah, he did Kong Skull Island and Kings of Summer. So yeah.
Okay. I don't hate that choice. But then again, I'm not as close
Kong
to the
Skull
franchise.
Island was pretty good. And I think if you're not going to do Oscar Isaac as Snake, then I think Tom Hiddleston's not a bad shout. He'd be great as Liquid. If you are going to adapt that storyline. You know
how that's gone down with him on Twitter, right?
Oh yeah.
He said, like, someone said, "Did you want to do it?" And he's like, "Yeah, I've seen that fan art of me."
Yeah. And
he says, "Yeah, I'd be down." And then the director was like, "Here's the story of the fan art." And we've spoken about Oscar, and I'll be honest, ball's in his court.
Yeah.
It's like,
want to do it?
Wait, I think is Oscar Isaac being given a job offer on Twitter?
The tricky bit about Metal Gear Solid.
Sorry.
And the Metal Gear. And the Metal Gear franchise as a whole is getting the script right. Because that's what's held it back. Because it's such a labyrinthine, twisty-turny, nightmarish, complex narrative that you don't know where to start. And this comes back to what we were saying earlier in the podcast about when you're adapting comics. You kind of have to adapt the spirit of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That first Metal Gear Solid game, and the first Metal Gear game, actually, because they're kind of... Metal Gear 2, and Metal Gear Solid narratively, in terms of the beats they hit, are all kind of fairly similar. You wouldn't have to cut that much to make it fit into a... Because the basic narrative is grizzled soldier, veteran, is called out of retirement to infiltrate a facility/base and stop a madman from starting a war because they've got this weapon called Metal Gear that can change the face of warfare. Like, that is... As a basic narrative, that's not...
Yeah.
You know, you cut things... You cut the iconic video game stuff, like the weird boss fights and stuff. You have those weird characters, by all means, in confrontation with them, but it doesn't have to follow the video game structure. It follows a more conventional 3-act movie structure, and you sort of retrofit those characters into that. So I think you can do a pretty straight adaptation of that I keep saying the first, even though it's the third, of Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
The Metal Gear Solid, which was the third Metal Gear game. Yes.
And canonically, isn't even the first one in the Metal Gear Solid franchise. My mind!
I think Jordan Roberts is a pretty good choice for director. I think... I know it was kind of a mess, but I think off the visuals of it, I think Gareth Edwards would be a pretty good choice, because even though Rogue One was pretty messy, the visuals of it were pretty spot on. And if he's got a good writer, then you can kind of...
Tell Konami that you're not making it unless you, the studio, are allowed to hire Kojima in an advisory capacity.
Yeah, he's definitely a producer on it.
Exec producer credit, story doctor.
Definitely. Maybe even story credit. Certainly... characters based on.
Konami would be petty enough to then go, right, well then you're not making it.
Yeah.
And then no one will grab it.
Right, Gary Whitta did some interesting stuff on Rogue One and works well with Gareth Edwards, so he'd be a good shout. And also he's a gamer, so, you know.
He'll have it down. He'll have it down.
Edited PC gamer and things like that for a while before he got into writing screenplays and things like that. Who else? Duncan Jones probably be a good shout for either screenplay or directing. He's working on Rogue Trooper at the moment. He's writing and directing a Rogue Trooper adaptation, which he's very excited about on Twitter.
Okay,
he's like, I just saw a tweet from earlier today. He's like, I'm working on the Rogue Trooper script. I'm really enjoying it. I think it's going to be great. I was like, all right, Duncan, whatever you say, mate.
We're going to absorb that enthusiasm right now,
yeah,
and hope that the studio allows you to keep it.
He was very enthusiastic about Warcraft, so you know,
he's still quite proud of it, from what I remember.
And yeah, it got made, so there's that.
How was the film? Well, it got made.
It needs to have weird action set pieces.
Oh God, yeah. It
needs to be,
because that's what I know that franchise for. I know it for its oddball shit like Psycho Mantis and things like that. That's what I know it for.
It's got to have like the sort of
grizzled military characters, and yet he's literally hiding in a cardboard box.
It's not a Michael Bay film in terms of its attitude towards war and the military.
Yeah,
like it's much more cynical. Than that, but it kind of looks like The Rock.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have the sort of fetishes. It does have that military fetishism, but not for the same reasons.
Yeah. This is almost fantasy military in a way. Yeah. Like on surface level, it is very American military, Michael Bay-esque sort of drum up the military porn kind of stuff. But then you get to meet the characters and talk to them. And you go, "This is weird shit."
But I think
this is weird ass shit.
I think the way you go is you adapt the first Metal Gear Solid with elements of the first Metal Gear.
Yeah.
That you have Snake being a veteran, brought out of retirement, but Metal Gear 1 and 2 didn't happen, so he doesn't know what Metal Gear is.
Mm-hmm.
He knows that there is elements of backstory to them in that he was basically raised on the battlefield. The big boss was his sort of father figure who later betrayed him, and then the leader of the terrorist incident in this incident is Liquid Snake, who's his identical twin. Or
This sounds like a soap opera already.
I know, right?
It's so bizarre.
I know, right? And later on, you find out that they're both clones of Big Boss, and or like or like test tube babies from his DNA or whatever. And then it's on Shadow Moses Island, and he has to get into Shadow Moses Island and get past all these weird sort of paramilitary group people, and then face down with Liquid and the titular Metal Gear, and that sort of end set piece is that. Well, the lead up to the big end set piece is how he manages to take down this ginormous
war machine
mech
of death. Yeah,
and then fist fights Liquid on the top of its wreckage. Like, that's how that movie needs to end.
Yeah, and then post credits teaser to a Metal Slug crossover.
Oh yeah, I don't think you kill off Liquid like you do in.
We're just like you, but I'm extra smaller and we're wacky.
I think you have the moment where
we're just like you, but we look more serious, yet we're not.
I think you climax with a moment where he is in a position to kill Liquid like he was with Big Boss, because he's had to fight and kill Big Boss previous to this.
You climax at the moment where he's about to,
and he lets Liquid live.
Oh.
And then if you want to do a sequel, you can have it. You can take it in a completely different direction from actual Metal Gear Solid sequel, because you couldn't do Sons of Liberty.
That's the smart way to do the adaptation, the cross to movie adaptation. Because you take it a different way.
Sons of Liberty you can't do it because it hinges. Its narrative and themes hinge so leans so heavily on the fact that it's a video game, and it deals with the ideas inherent to video games.
Yeah. Oh god, these games fuck with you. It's about your memory card slots and things like that.
You can take that.
Like, there are boss fights that you can get past by unplugging your controller and plugging it into the player 2 slot and things like that. That's the superficial
stuff. I'm talking in Metal Gear Solid 2. I'm talking about like the themes of agency and how much of you is you and how much of you is the person controlling the avatar that is you. And do you even know that if you're an avatar, or what value do experiences have if they're real versus simulated, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah.
Which is not kind of stuff you want to get into in
film 1, yeah.
Even if you do, you don't want to get into it in film 1.
So into it later. Suggest it in film 1. Not sequel bait it. Suggest it.
Yeah, I think...
And then film 2 can expand on those ideas.
I think a Gareth Edwards directed, Duncan Jones scripted...
Hideo Kojima advised, exec produced, yeah.
Sort of streamlined remake of the general outline of Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
With the backstory elements of Metal Gear 1 and 2 simplified, so that this is the first canonical Metal Gear.
We're bringing you out of retirement to fight your evil twin who's about to unleash a war machine on the world.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
There's a beautiful, simple... And we learn a bit about your backstory.
You get a bit into the backstory of Big Boss, because then if you want to do the Snake Eater style Metal Gear Solid 3 prequel later on, with the same actor, then you can.
And Bond title sequence.
I think Oscar Isaac is a really good pick.
Yeah.
Because
he would, of course, be playing, I assume, Snake, Solid Snake and Liquid Snake.
I think Tom Hiddleston's also a good pick. And if you want, you could do the non-identical thing, but similar thing with a little bit of makeup to sort of approximate Oscar Isaac and Tom Hiddleston into similar sort of looks. Or Tom Hiddleston would also be a great Snake and Liquid Snake.
Yeah. I think I prefer Oscar Isaac over Hiddleston.
Yeah, but I just
for Solid especially.
Just thinking of Hiddleston then was like, oh yeah, no, he'd be good. Revolver Ocelot. I was talking to Charlie last night, and he suggested someone really good for Revolver Ocelot, and I can't remember what he said. Kurt Russell should be in there somewhere, obviously.
Just cause.
He'd be a great Colonel Campbell. Well, the character of Snake is so heavily influenced by Kurt Russell's Snake Plissken from Escape from New York, that it'd be weird not to have him in it. Who did he suggest for Revolver Ocelot now? And I was like, oh yeah, can't fucking remember.
We've gone deep into the Metal Gear lore here for an outside observer.
Series. He's fucking great. Revolver. Sterling K. Brown as the cyborg ninja.
Yeah.
Who's the sort of reanimated body of one of Snake's old comrades / enemies.
Yeah.
Who he left for dead.
That
Gray Fox.
Greyfu.
Otacon. Who's Otacon? Kurt Russell could be a great Colonel Campbell, the mission control character.
Who did you suggest that before?
No, I didn't suggest that for Campbell.
That would be good for Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell would be a good Campbell, commanding officer.
Could the whole movie, just a tiny suggestion, I mean, cinematography and all that, you know, can the whole movie just be the walkie-talkie style conversations? Just the whole film?
There should be a lot of that.
Like, we don't see anything, it's just still images of the actors
it's got to
in
have
little
that
green
sort of-
windows.
It's got to have that sort of snarkiness of the codec conversations.
Oscar, we want you over here to play Solid Snake in a Metal Gear movie. Oh my god, that's going to be amazing. Yeah, we need you for 2 days, we're taking a photo of your face, and then the rest of it's in VO.
Yeah, brilliant. Brilliant.
It's going to cost $5 to make.
Sam Elliott would have been a great Revolver Ocelot 15 years ago, but I think he's a little old now.
His moustache could play it.
Yeah.
Just hire his moustache.
Definitely.
Put an oxygen tank in his moustache, it'll be fine.
Nice.
I store my oxygen.
Yeah, I know. They did some fun out of Henry Cavill as Snake as well, but I don't know if he's got the charisma for it. I like Henry Cavill.
I mean, when they
from
announced...
what I've seen of him, he's not.
When they announced Henry Cavill as Geralt, I was just like... But now I've played more of The Witcher 3, I'm like... Yeah, Geralt is kind of blonde.
Yeah.
He's just a pseudo Batman voice. I think Cavill could probably do that. But then again, Cavill in Mission Impossible 6.
Yeah.
Do you know what I think the correct way to adapt it would be?
What's that?
To not do it. Because video game movies...
That's not the question.
Yeah, good point. Damn it.
But yeah, I think that's a... I think Oscar Isaac is a solid pick for Snake. Yeah. Duncan Jones, Gareth Edwards, Hideo Kojima.
With a soundtrack by Skrillex. I'm kidding.
Soundtrack by Harry Gregson Williams, because he did some stuff for Metal Gear Solid 2 as well.
I'm game.
No, you're a movie.
Based on a game.
Yeah, boy!
Based on a podcast. Which you've been listening to, boys and girls.
You've been listening to The Big Damn Cast.
Starring Christopher Watson and Matthew Johnson.
Yes.
If you wish to get in touch with this journey in their week,
Fucking don't!
but if you feel so inclined, email bigdamncontact@gmail.com. You can
That's
also
us.
tweet us at BigDamnCast. Tune in every fucking weekday to twitch.tv/BigDamnStream. Tuesdays and Thursdays is
something for that
streamings, and there's something going on. If it's not us, it's us hosting shit. So watch it, god damn it. It's good stuff. And if we hit 50 followers on Twitch, we qualify for affiliate status.
I can't believe we're not already at 50 followers. We're so good.
We are the best, like no one ever was. To catch them is my real dest. To train them is my cuz.
Oh, look. It's Pokemon Diamond. That was a Ponyta fainting, by the way.
All good podcasts end with the exhausted collapse of a horse made of fire.
He's not made of fire. He has a fiery mane. You really need to brush up on your Pokemon physiology, Christopher.
I worry about you.
Pokebiology 101.
We've already gone now. That's the music playing.
Not made of fire!